the Out There channel.
Please sub and share.
Searching for the truth. UFOs, aliens, greys and ufology. Real images, real stories, real videos, real cases, researched and investigated by professionals in the field and cutting-edge discoveries. Multiple witnesses, abduction accounts brought to you by Team The Out There channel. Good to be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
Yo, how's it going out there? Hope everyone's been well. It's still freezing cold here. That's right, freezing cold room I'm in, trying to heat it up. My hands are frozen, so we'll see how we go. Let's see, not many people about at the moment. Minimize it. So we're doing orbs, cigars, UFOs, other UFO videos, and it's my birthday weekend. All things. There we go. Happy birthday to me. Actually went smooth today, which was amazing. I didn't actually find out what was wrong with the monitor last weekend. Could have been a power connector to my switch for HDMI, but I wasn't sure. I just clicked in a wee bit further than it was, so I'm just hoping it was that. But yeah, there's some major cables here again. No matter how much you try and tidy up your system, it still gets messy. Ooh, sort of shivering at the moment. Maybe I should have turned up the heater more. Oh, I forgot to put the fan on the computers. Who? There we go. Although it's not as loud as it should be. It's probably going to go wrong. Probably dust building up again. Ah, I shall lift it open. I think we're pretty much up and running. Yeah. And my eyeballs don't freeze. What's the temperature in here? 17 degrees Celsius. I suppose that's warm for UK though. I can't function under 24. But it is good for sleeping, I guess. Although if it gets too cold, you have to have your head under the covers. It must have gone down to 0 last night because it's fairly cool in the house. Yeah. I think we'll start with the orbs. Orbs. Who's out there? Anybody? Say hi on the side. Join in the chats. Questions. Don't be too scared to answer them. Or objections. Okay. I'll just have to pause a few things here, previews. Let's have a look. Then we can begin. Who's out there on pills at the moment? 2, is it? 3 on YouTube all of a sudden. So the messages got out there. And 2 on Rumble. Okay. Who got Liz? How's it going? Virginia, USA. Are there many people up in Virginia? I don't think we've had anyone from there recently. Most people come from California, I think, or Arizona, or Florida, mostly. And I think we got one in New York area. What's it called? Detroit, is it? Is that the name of it? USA's just got a lot of place names, and it's a big country. It's interesting to visit it one day. But everybody should visit New Zealand and Australia, because the paradise down here. A lot of people come here and they want to leave. Colleen was like that. We had her on a couple of months ago now. Her son, I think, and his wife come over here, and they told her how much fun they had and what a great country it is. And they would love to live here. So yeah, she's determined to try and save up and come to visit New Zealand now. Of course, it's got really cool people like me here. Thanks for saying hi on the side. We've got one brave person at least. Just wonder what's happened to Michael King today. Maybe he's having a sleep in. I keep telling him if he wants to have a nap before the show, he should do that, because it's because of the time zones it stuffs up things, right? I know people who have seen activity in Shenandoah Valley. Is that how you say that? Off the Blue Ridge Mountains. You talked about the plasma orbs they get there, isn't it? Yeah. Expedition Bigfoot went there too, didn't they? And they captured some orbs above the trees, and wasn't it where they saw Bigfoot sort of appear underneath the orbs and start walking along the ridge line? Or was that the place? I'm not sure now. But it's interesting to show that. But we'll see what comes of it. I've had a few experiences of orbs, and I'll cover it today, the best one. Although I'm meant to be putting it in my own documentary. But it's just a matter of getting energy to do it. It takes a lot of time to edit your own stuff into a proper documentary of an hour and a half. I'm not sure if people are really interested though. The amount of people that find my channel is very few, and they get upset because I debunk mundane stuff, right? And they don't stay around and listen to all the good stuff I've got and all my own experiences I've got. You should be listening to someone that has their own experiences and also debunks stuff. No, right, thanks. Sorry, I got interrupted. I'm just trying to get warm. The door was open. I got a blast of cold towards me, like a paranormal event. I've had paranormal events where doors literally open up themselves, and you get that gusty air that goes past you. I had it in the other house as well. So I think we get like attachments, things that follow us. And I think it was probably the guy that committed suicide on top of the house that I talk about. That's when things started to amp up. Just before that though, my sister did have an attachment from a rental property that she was in. She believed that something tried to push her off the ladder, which sounds ominous. And she heard kids laughing, and her kids in the house are saying that they're seeing apparition of a lady in white, like touching their foreheads. So yeah, it sort of started back then, back in the late 1990s. It's sort of been with us on and off. At the moment, everything's gone fairly cool since I've put up cameras everywhere. Although I have caught a few things on the cameras and documented it. You got to have at least 2 or 3 cameras to capture something on different cameras at the same time to make people actually believe it, of course. And that can be very hard to do because they have this habit of interfering with your cameras and recordings and power supplies mainly. I don't know what it is with power supplies, but maybe it's easier to take out the power supply to the device than it is anything else, maybe. Basically, power supplies from China now have like 1 chip in it, and they call it what they call it. It's not like an old transformer like in the old Tesla days anymore, where they used to be very heavy and you plug them in the wall. The switch mode, they call it switch mode, and it's done in solid state, and they can reduce the AC down to DC and all that sort of stuff with it. Basically that's what they use in PCs, switch mode power supplies, but they use great big grunty ones with a lot of amps going through it. But a lot of that's improved now as well. Mostly it's fans keeping it cool in the PC. We got a Michael King. The King of Scotland has joined us. How's it going, Mike? It's my birthday weekend, by the way. So, 1 year older, 1 year wiser in the UFO and paranormal field. We're always learning here, aren't we? And hopefully we'll learn some more today. What's interesting though is we got this thing from Bigelow, which people like Mick West don't like. So we'll be going over it in a minute. I've been watching The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. Oh, poor you. Beyond Skinwalker Expedition X. Yeah, I saw Expedition X. Yeah, thank you for the birthday wish. Yeah, they also have the habit of now using these XLS cameras. So I'll be having a look at that again today. Skinwalker Ranch, if you watched my show last weekend, we also talked about Blind Frog Ranch. Now, guess who was on it in the new season? Jeremy McGowan from X. He was the one that was associated with Skinwalker Ranch and also Zondo, until he figured out Zondo was full of it and lying and trying to make money off him. But unfortunately he's left X for some reason. I don't know why. He wrote an article, and then after that he disappeared. I think people didn't appreciate his article too much because he was saying that Elon has ruined X by allowing conspiracy theories to thrive, but that's really what free speech is about, isn't it? I think actually X has got better. Having to have free speech finally without your comments vanishing, especially in direct messages. Although it's not perfect, there's still some things you post get blocked. I'm not sure if that's left over and been forgotten about, and Elon hasn't removed it from the control freaks that used to own it. But the community notes, I think, is a really big plus, and not like stupid Wikipedia links that YouTube adds underneath your videos when you talk about abductions, especially if you put the word alien in front of that word. You've probably seen it on my videos occasionally when I've talked about stuff. And of course the Wikipedia is completely biased and wrong. It doesn't include true stats at all. They talk about sleep paralysis, which is a load of bollocks. Maybe you're talking about 1% of people there in that situation that have claim to be paralyzed and see things moving around. Not necessarily aliens, but we're talking about really low percentage there. Then they say it's hallucinations because of drugs or some mental problems, which we know is a load of rubbish because they don't include all the people that see their family being abducted or their friends being abducted. It doesn't always happen when they're alone. And there's like a few percent cases out there. I'm not sure what the percentage is. I've tried to get the information, but it's all locked up with this Linda, what's her name? Martin person, and ERT, and MUFON. The information is not free flowing, unfortunately. As we could put it in arguments, say, well, this is the true stats, and these are the people that passed the special questionnaire where only abductees know the answers. And it's like a secret thing, which it should be secret because you don't want the public knowing all the markers that proves a real case. Otherwise, it might be that the aliens wear white shoes or something, or whatever, you know, or they have a certain tool in their hand every time, or a crystal or something like that. There might be some sort of marker that appears in authentic cases that they know about, some attributes, right? Like a smell, like what they saw, what they heard, and the sequence of it happening. But anyway, we better get on with the list here. I'll just check the side comments. So what's happening there? What's that popping up there? Yeah, it keeps adding things to it. I don't like the pop-ups. But yeah, we got 4 on YouTube, 2 on Rumble still, and 1 extra on Pilled at the moment. I'll just do a refresh there. I'll just catch up on the comments here. Skinwalker Arch seems like they've got more questions than answers. Well, there will be with those scientists they've got. Michael, X is way better than what Twitter was. That's right, I believe you're correct to press in, but at least it's mostly the truth. Yeah. So let's just dive into it, shall we? So Greenstreet is, I don't know if he's a gay man or what, Greenstreet, but he certainly doesn't believe. And he's a Mick West fanboy. So he's put out this thing here. Robert Bigelow says he used psychic powers to summon ghostly orbs, which healed a sick man at Skinwalker Ranch. He claims the photo shows the orbs healing the man, but Chris Bator, Skinwalker Ranch, who worked there, says the orbs are simply dust particles reflected in the camera flash. So we're going to talk about that. Orbs, no one really likes orbs much, unless you're talking about big ones, of course. But little ones you pick up on your camera, or IR camera especially, are very prone to be debunked. But yeah, we'll just go and listen to what he has to say here.
I was asking in Las Vegas for things to show up at the ranch and being witnessed by at least 2 people, with the proof being a digital camera. So they were orbs.
Well, you have shown me images.
So I'm not sure if there's a copyright or not, so I'll just pause it occasionally.
Where it looked like there might have been hundreds of orbs in the picture.
Oh, and even thousands. And I can't find the key picture. I've been looking for that picture to show you.
So this is typical of people that don't own cameras, don't have it 24/7 like myself, and doesn't understand what you capture on cameras and the problems with the cameras. And we'll just go into it in more detail later.
Where one is it's so bright, enveloping this man sitting on a chair who was sick, complaining of being sick, and his part.
Okay, so this is one of the photos and questions, and we know how frauds fake all that, you know. Third Face had a man that obviously had talcum powder in his hand or up his sleeve, or he rubbed off skin flakes off his hand. Some people lose their skin, dead skin, quite easily by rubbing their hands, and then they can blow and it creates all these little fine particles that you don't see, but IR camera is really good at reflecting off it because it's called active infrared, and the LEDs send out beams of infrared light and it reflects off anything in front of it. So you get little particles like a centimeter in front of the lens. It creates these orbs like this, but they have certain traits to it compared to other stuff you capture. You also get fine water droplets in breath, so if it's like a cold night, if you simply breathe out and take a photograph, you get a lot of these orbs as well. And dust is one of them as well, and pollen, depending on what time of year it is. And bugs, of course. But bugs generally don't just float around, that you still see them move in all different directions, and bugs can be very hard to eliminate out of the equation of being an orb. So we'll just go over that more in detail. Citizens walk around security guards surrounded by orbs. Now what was his problem though? We have to find out.
Partner was there with a camera. They're asking for help and kind of praying and so on. And all of a sudden, oh my gosh.
And was he healed?
Yeah, he absolutely was, right there on the spot. He felt great.
This was at the ranch?
Yeah. I was asking in Las Vegas for things to show up at the ranch and being witnessed by at least 2 people, with the proof being a digital camera. So they were orbs.
Well, you have shown me images where it looked like there might have been
thousands. So, and they repeating it? Is this a repeat? Have we gone over? I think we have repeating it again.
And hundreds of orbs in the picture.
Oh, and even thousands. And I can't find the key picture. I've been looking for that picture to show you, where one is so bright, enveloping this man sitting on a chair who was sick, complaining of being sick, and his
There's not really any bright ones here, though, apart from this one, maybe.
partner was there with a camera. They're asking for help and kind of praying and so on. And all of a sudden, oh my gosh.
And was he healed?
See, you can't do that on an outside environment, and you got to do it in a clean room, which is really hard to do. Then if you get thousands suddenly show up and there's absolutely no dust in the room or people moving around, then you could say that's abnormal, right? But I've never seen anyone do a proper controlled experiment like that. Dust has a certain marker that it sort of flickers as it's moving with the air currents. I don't know if it's because it's spinning, but I think it must be like a flake, maybe like a human skin flake that's spinning, and when it goes horizontal to the infrared LEDs sending out beams, there's less reflection, and as it spins around, it gets more and more reflection again. So it's how's it going to come up? Plugging along, computer. Yes, you know, if it's a circle, yeah, look how slow it is. Normally, if you get a really fast computer, you can draw circles pretty good. If it's like that, it's going to reflect all the light back off, right? The LEDs are sending light this way, and then it bounces back to the camera lens. But as it spins, as you know, it will start bending in the middle. How can I? Yeah, it will sort of bend around. I'll try. So the middle's there now. So it's less surface area to reflect off, and eventually it will keep turning until it's like that to the camera, right? So we're looking at the edge of the flake of skin. The question is, why does it end up being a circle, though? It doesn't always, but most of the time it does look like a circle or a sphere. I think it's just the way the photocells are. It wants to the photocells around themselves, right? So it's an aspect of the camera. I think that maybe it will get better with details. Because we're talking about really small things, right? To reflecting light back. Why is it transparent? Well, if it's spinning around in a circle like that really fast as it's moving through the air current, it's going to look like it's semi-transparent, right? Because it's to do with the frequency, right? Water droplets tend to reflect more back because they're like a little blob moving through the air as well, and they're more defined. So yeah, we got there in the end of the interview, but he's reposted the image here for some reason. Maybe because people don't watch the clip. 2009 security guard. Now he's saying dust, but it could easily be fine water droplets from breath. Looks like it might be fairly cool there because he's got a jumper on. It looks like he's got 3 layers on there. And jeans, right? So it might be a cool night there. Enough for breath to show up like that. Especially if you cough and sneeze. Bigelow was receiving taxpayer funds from Senator Harry Reid to hunt the paranormal at the ranch. Makes you wonder what other stuff they experimented and documented though. And that we won't find out. For some reason. Bigelow's team at Skinwalker Ranch reported orbs and strange phenomenon, but no confirmed psychic healing events. Now, he did have psychics go onto the ranch. I believe it amped it up. Skinwalker Ranch apparently, according to Maya, last guest, he said they've had psychics on there, but they've never included it in the TV show, which sounds really strange to me, because there's a lot of TV shows with psychics and they're very popular. So why wouldn't you put psychics in there? Because maybe they don't believe it's scientific, but they were quite okay to have some sort of shaman on there. Was it a Jewish man or something? Or Indian man as well, that they had there do some praise. So I don't know why they wouldn't include psychics. It doesn't make any sense to me. Self-confirmed psychic healing events prove the literal video above. Oh yeah, so I had to reply to that, of course. Let's see if there's any other replies here. Unfortunately, this is true. During the first week on the ranch in fall 2010, I debunked all photos that were being promoted as anomalies. It's got people edited out there. So it's very hard to do a controlled experiment like that, even in a old rundown building that's got a lot of holes and broken windows and things, right? And people moving around. Now I'll show you my stuff that I capture outside compared to inside. And I've got some links here, which you've seen if you've been following me for years. Whereabouts did I put it? Okay. So this is another thing stupid about X, is if you exceed the length on premium, it still doesn't add a thumbnail for some reason, which is kind of lame, because there's no reason it shouldn't add a thumbnail. It's a lot of little bugs in X, and these dedicated coders, I think. Anyway, I posted a couple here. What did I say here? Here's examples of orbs on video collection. Chopped off the end. Off pollen, dust, water droplets, and bugs. This is what you generally get. And this crazy one wasn't windy. Not sure if it was flying water or pollen. So this is what you get on IR cameras. It just looks like a sea of craziness, right? And you can see the LED lights are actually, you can see the circular. It's that thick of the moisture in the air, even though if you go outside you can't see it or feel it. It's that dense enough it can reflect the LEDs off like car headlights through a mist. See that there? Got really thick there for a second. Almost reflected the whole LED lights back. That there is a green bean. What do you call it? Like a wire mesh, so they crawl up, like, you know, because they're vines, so they crawl up it, and then they start sprouting the long beans of it. So if you're wondering what that was in the garden. Plus I got this one here. I can't remember what it was now. Let's have a look. Why is it not playing? Google wants to put an ad on it. So this one's got a spider web as well. And I'm rotating it around remotely from the bedroom. And you can see the IR reflects quite heavily of things that are not too far away. Very close up. And spider web. At the moment you can't see the bugs, right? Depends on the angle of the camera. And then once you start moving it around, you start seeing the highway of bugs and maybe pollen. You can see it's not really windy out there because of the spider web, right? Else that would be blown around like crazy. So if you took a photograph of that, you'd just get a little round warps. But at the moment we've got motion blur happening, right? There's the moon above the clouds. It's hard to believe that a lot of that's going to be bugs just flying around. And they'll be really, really small too. But yeah. Now, obviously, Bigelow doesn't understand anything about cameras. He's just a billionaire with lots of money and gets other people to do it. A bit like Elon. Now, what's interesting is, if I go back, the one that I caught in the bedroom, which I was going to include in the documentary eventually. But what's interesting is you see me wake up and scream, and because it was fresh in my mind, I repeated what I saw on camera, or saw with my eyes, and found on the camera, and told the story of why I woke up screaming. So I have got a link to it here. I'll just recap it because not many people watched it. I think only one person showed up to watch the stream that day. But it's had 102 views and only 4 likes. One of them is my test one. And no one's commented on it. So that was back in 2 years ago. 2022. So that was after I had my alien visitations happen. And this is a really, very bright one I got. Now, Bigelow's one was taken with a standard flash, right? And that also reflects light back off particles in the air, exactly the same as an IR camera. But you need a source of light. Yeah, I'm going to cover. Where's the picture going? So this is obviously not an IR. Could easily be color night vision though. But I don't think they had it back 2009. Might have been early ones maybe. But that's like a flash. You can see there's looks like regular light here. It would have been interesting if they also had thermal. Well, yeah, they should have had thermal set up as well as infrared. I mean, they should have had infrared alongside that normal photograph, but looks like they haven't done it. But yeah, let's just go to my story. It's a really, it's kind of a creepy story, this one. But you can see here, I isolated the frame. And we'll just play it. There? But look at that. Now you can see it's not perfectly circular either. And does deform a wee bit. and we're sort of trying to rule out whether it could have been a bug. The room was sealed all week, no windows open. It is in winter, I believe. The door remains shut to the room most of the day until I go into it. And there was no other dust shown in the video at the time, but we'll just play it as it is and add to it, I guess. That funny shape inside it there, almost. So it's sort of solid with a wee bit of transparency in it, you see. So we thought maybe it could be something flapping its wings like a bug. But how it got in the room, not too sure. There is little hole vents around the ceiling lights. That's about the only thing that would allow a bug to get into the room for that week. Or we mostly get spiders. Spiders normally come down those things on a thread, right? Don't normally get bugs that like to dive down through holes. Yeah, there might be some other stuff in the video that we missed, even. But this was just before my other camera went faulty. I had another camera set up on the opposite side of the room. My first camera in there. It was a color night vision, and I had that set on normal color vision, but it still has LEDs that sort of glow, and I had both cameras covered, so you could play both cameras and prove to everybody that no one was moving around or hiding in the room. But the other camera died, and it took me to save up for a replacement, or I think I took a camera out in another room and ordered a replacement for that one. But I hadn't actually set it up for this night.
Looks like a letter C, doesn't it?
Talk about an angle there.
And you can see the circles on the bedspread going through it. But it's not flickering like a normal dust thing. Look at that.
So that one suddenly went solid, right? And it looks definitely spherical. But it also looks like it's got what this Australian guy called Gabba that we had on. It looks like it's got little spiky bits coming off it, like energy, right? It almost looks like it's glowing. Unfortunately, if I had the other camera set up and it had like a little flash of light, we could say, haha, that's it there. But it wasn't running. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to capture it though, because we talked about probably something that's really small here. But we don't know exactly what size it is. There's another problem. Really, you need like stereo cameras nowadays, so then you could wear goggles and it'll give you a rough idea how big things are. Skinwalker Ranch should be doing that by principle alone.
Suddenly got brighter.
So this can't be a piece of dust, right? Dust is normally really, really transparent and circular, and it flickers.
In one frame.
And I'm stepping frame by frame here.
Unhappy.
Now, unfortunately, it's not 30 frames a second. It's only like 12, or less. It varies. Depends how fast it's able to process, I think, what's going on in the room.
Face there, but that's part of the circle going through it. See the circle.
So we've had a lot of activity in this room over the years, but yeah, won't cover those ones today.
Cool lines here. Looks like an unhappy smiley face. That's Paul going to rant.
All right, there, a little smiley face there. Unhappy person. Now, we did actually buy this bed from a family, but we're not sure if anyone died in the bed. You know how you buy second-hand furniture. It's a very comfortable bed. The parents bought it, and it's lower down than my other bed that I bought, which is very hard to get into, which I'm currently sitting on doing the show. And so I decided to sleep in the other room permanently. It used to be that I moved in there when it was too hot, because it used to be the coldest room in the house. Maybe it's part of the spirits there, I don't know. But it always was the coldest room. Well, almost the coldest room. There's another room in the house that we don't use. It's like a sub-lounge part to the kitchen. It just gets really bitter cold in that room. But that should be made into a bedroom as well, and turned into a double bedroom. Well, maybe I should move into it. If I get the house under inheritance, I'll probably modify it so it will become another bedroom, or at least a room that you can use. But anyway, carry on.
Ranting about truthers that have double standards. There we go.
I can't help to notice that it's sort of almost deforming the circle as it's moving. But we expect to get some motion blur between frames, so that could explain it. And we expect to get some rolling shutter, but it does look like it's always consistent with the outside here. It almost looks like a plasma ball.
Now it's going up again. It's moving all over.
Now, if you compare that to Bigelow's ones with the photograph, I don't think we can see the outline of these things. They're nice and smooth, I think, mostly. See that there? It's a bit hard because the background has got a lot of noise added to it, so it looks like it's adding on to it. A bit hard to see. And that one's got a glass going through it there. Looks like it's reflecting something off the grass. And that one there looks very similar to my one. So it doesn't mean that necessarily all the orbs are dust. There could be particular ones that are paranormal. Paranormal in the sense that we don't understand them, and they might not be like spirits or anything like that. And they might be actually just a, you know, like energy could actually be living, you know, we just don't understand. I mean, it's a bit like the Star Trek episodes. These ones look like the dust because they're transparent, right? And they seem to have like solid edges. But if you look at that other one here, it's a wee bit like mine in the bedroom. Looks like it's got a rough edge on it, you know, like little sparks going around the outside. But because they're using a flash, we've got not using another camera to prove they're emitting their own light. Makes it a wee bit tricky to say there's something other than dust, unfortunately.
Over the place. I've got some motion blur.
Look how it's sort of moving all over the place.
Sipping over here. Sipping all over the bloody place. Look, bang, every direction. Whoa, look how fast that moved.
And what's interesting is that it's constantly keeping the shape, because the motion blur gives it away, right? Still the thickness outline, the ghosting of the orb moving, suggests that the shape's constant.
Where's it gone to? It left a streak behind, but it's gone. It's a shame I haven't got a regular camera in there to see if there's a spot of light. Look, it moves so fast that it left a streak. It's near my head now.
So it's hidden. It come from the curtain. It started off small and started sigging around here, and it come around here and started heading off to where my head was. And it's right close to the camera now too.
There's my hand, and my head's up here. Now
Yeah,
it's gone.
I'll just let it run.
And you got to remember, it's cold night now. There's no heat for that to be pushed around with air currents.
And you notice my one's different to Bigelow's. There's not... there is some noise, but there's no other orbs. That's the only orb in that room. And we got before and after videos just to prove a point that there was absolutely no dust floating around. Like I said, it's a very clean room. Hardly anyone goes in there, so there's no skin flakes coming off people. It's only when I go in there and sleep. And you can see there's a LED off the TV screen here. It's glowing. And that's about it.
And it started here, and it didn't come downwards here, go like that, from the ceiling lights into the roof. Anyway, just play it normally. That's just... Why is that? Oh. See what happens next. The orb just passed.
Did I see something flash up there? Sometimes I find other stuff in videos that I've missed. I just want to go back on that.
Inside it there, it almost looks like a letter C, doesn't it?
That's very fun.
And you can see the section. Whoa, look how fast that moved. Where's it gone to? It left a streak behind, but it's gone.
Okay, this one is... I saw
it's a shame I haven't got a regular camera in there to see if there's a spot of light.
This is a mirror behind a TV.
Look, it
and
moves so
reflects.
fast that it left a streak. It's near my head.
So there's a mirror here. And I thought I saw something just move into the frame there
Now,
before.
There's my hand.
It might be just my imagination, but let's have a look.
And my head's up here. Now it's gone.
Slightly over here, so we need to just keep it on that region there. Could be my eyes playing tricks.
And you got to remember, it's cold night now. There's no heat for that to...
So that would be the side where the orb was.
Be pushed around with air currents. And
so that's why you know there can't be someone standing here, because they would be reflected off the mirror or even on the TV screen.
It started here, and it didn't come downwards here, go like that, from the ceiling lights into the roof. Anyway, just play it normally. That's just... Why is that? See what happens next. The orb just passed.
It must have been my imagination. I thought I saw a dark thing just step in and then step out. Yeah, terrible snorer.
I'll tell you what I remember in a minute. Okay, Google.
So after that orb passed, I had this nightmare. So I'll explain it in the video.
So I sort of scream out there from a deep sleep, right? And the first thing I do is say, "Okay, Google," because I was suddenly had this evil premonition of something at the end of my bed trying to grab my leg. Like, it wasn't actually physically getting my body, it was trying to get what people would call my spirit, my soul. It was trying to pull my soul out of my body. This is what I was seeing in my dream. That's all I can say it was. And I'm screaming at it, and then suddenly I wake up. And I wasn't expecting to see the camera actually had an orb, like we just...
So my screen was actually transferred from the dream state to reality and woke up. It's kind of strange, isn't it? And I only looked on the video the next day to see if there's reason why I woke up, and that's when I saw the orb.
I saw, and it's so easy to say that's related because we're not seeing any other dust particles, so we're not seeing it come back. I don't know if it's attachment, but suddenly I was feeling like something was trying to kill me, probably Scambian, as Goofon would say, or Goofon's curse, or all these people doing voodoo magic on me. Maybe it was 18 Worlds cursing me, who knows, but something happened there where I thought something was trying to kill me and drag my soul away. Is about the best I can do. So I say, okay, Google, because it turns on the phone screen and it's enough light to see if there's anything in the room. Even though you can't see it on the camera here, there's actually some normal light other than infrared light. And it's not bright enough to light up the room like we see it here, but this camera doesn't pick up what I was seeing near the end of the bed. And it felt like a dark demon or presence was there. And you'll see what I do in a minute. See?
Something happened there.
See what happened there? See what happened there? The camera switched off, which should never happen. There. And something here, was it? No, that's probably part of it. So it's me moving there. We expect a load of dust to be stirred up now, right? So let's just skim on that. So there should be a load of dust coming off that. Looks like a dark shadow there, doesn't it? I don't know if that's me or what, but it does look like something dark there as well, doesn't it? See that there? Now, could that be the phone light reflecting off the sheet? It could be. Yeah, we're seeing the edge of the sheet onto the curtain.
There you go. I'm debunking my own stuff as I'm going.
Right. So I've debunked
now,
that.
the reason there might not have been as much dust, or no dust come off that, I think it must have been freshly washed that day. The bedding. I think it was a new set of bed clothes, blankets and stuff on there. That does reduce dust quite a lot. Now we have got videos of where I've shaken what I've just done there, and the room is full of dust particles swimming all over the place. But yeah, that particular night, it's kind of strange that we didn't even pick up any soon after all that shaking.
That one. So I was hoping to see.
So that sort of eliminates the other one that happened just before I woke up as being dust, because we're not picking up any other dust with all that activity of movement on the same camera.
If we could see something I missed when I first looked at it. Now I'm lifting it
now
up.
That orb didn't show up ever again like that. If it was a bug in the room, we'd expect it to have been picked up throughout the night, flying around. Or next day or so. Now I looked over all the footage from that night because I was freaked out about it, because I've had paranormal entities jump on the bed or onto me, and I think there was one particular time where my foot was lifted up, but it wasn't conclusive whether it was some sort of auto body movement versus something lifting it up. So you couldn't really say much about it. But yeah, I woke up with my foot up in the air, which is quite strange. But yeah, that's the time of when the aliens were showing up too. Now, they passed on information to me through Greenstreet, and I documented it, right? And one of them was that they were caretakers of the multiverse. Not universe, but multiverse. And they try and capture entities that break into our realm from other universes and remove them, take them back to their own universe, so it doesn't cross-contaminate. So they're like caretakers. But it doesn't mean that there isn't evil greys that have other motives, right? So yeah, I think it's like humans. You have good and bad in all races, right?
Up again.
So I'll go back in a minute and play where the orb
doing
comes
Kung
from.
Fu. So here we go.
Now I'm not sure why I get these.
Happen.
I'm not sure why the camera does that. I don't know if it's some sort of firmware bug, but you can see it doesn't lose the time stamp. So yeah, it should be showing infrared all the time. It should never ever go black like that. And if it was an object in front of it, it should reflect. But like the orbs, it should be all white. It should just reflect all white back, not all black. So it's a really strange fault if it is. Why would simply moving in front of the camera cause a black outage? Doesn't sort of make any sense whatsoever. Like, you know, you're throwing your blanket up in the air shouldn't cause a black outage there for 1 second. I just can't work that one out. If it's an artifact, it's a very strange one. Could it be that something that absorbed all the infrared light simply moved in front of it and wasn't reflecting any of the infrared back? Possible. Something invisible that's next to my bed there where the orb was. And maybe the orb is some sort of way the aliens move, and then they sort of materialize from that point onwards. Now, I've heard stories of people seeing orbs in the sky, like they're coming out of a portal, and suddenly it turns into a TR-3B. I've heard stories like that. So the orbs, and we've heard the stories of the orbs over trees and Bigfoot. Where they captured Bigfoot suddenly disappearing or reappearing. So it's like the orbs are some sort of energy to create a interface between universes, maybe, or allow them to step into our realm. But yeah, they do destroy camera gear and videos and stuff. In fact, I think I had lots of problems with the cameras that night, and this was the only recording I got because I was streaming it to the kitchen. I think the memory card got all corrupted, which is another anomaly, right, that happens with paranormal and alien visitations.
And it's still got the time, so it's recording still. And then it's gone. To me, that looks like a shadow person. So as soon as I moved, I scared it off. That's what it looks like to me. Went zooming past the camera. But
now, I've only had that happen on the camera 3 or 4 other times. And the other times was during alien events and also other touching events that happened. Never ever seen it any other times. So yeah, when I got touched on my feet on the other video that I talk about in the past. It happened then, and it also happened when I was getting visits from the tall Nordics, which was an experiment I did. You know, after I had a visit from the alien grey sticking a needle in my back, I assumed that I might be nano-chipped, and I would do an experiment because I read that story about the guy going into a bank and sitting on the bench, and he spoke out and said out in his mind at the same time, if there's any tall Nordics out there, can you make yourself known? And this is in broad daylight. So I thought I'd do something similar, and I thought I'd do the same. I'd say, if there's any tall whites, Nordics in New Zealand, make yourself known to me, but it must be during the daytime. And of course they did appear at the break of dawn as well as at lunchtime, and I had it 4 times happen to me. And lucky enough, one of them was when I had the camera set up and I captured it on film, but it was in low light, and I had to stack images to be able to see if there was anything there that was sort of like half transparent, so it was sort of fading when I woke up. I woke up, saw the lady, and she faded away very quickly. So, because I was disappointed there was nothing on camera, I took various frames, and I thought I'd see if I can process it later. But I didn't keep the video because I thought nothing would come off it, and I was really surprised myself that when I stacked the images, there was actually the lady I saw next to me in the bed. But anyway, it's not credible evidence to a skeptic, but it was good enough for myself to realise I wasn't having an hallucination.
Remember, but we don't see it on the other video.
I'll just catch up in the side comments and we'll carry on. Alright. Looks like there's no new ones. Alright, hasn't been scrolling. Could be snow fairies. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But anyway, just carry on.
Didn't see it on the other video, and also we've moved in the past, we've never had that blackout before, so yeah, I can't explain it. It's a strange artifact if it is a camera fault, because it's still recording.
It's funny how I say the same things and then I'll show you on the video that I did 2 years ago, exactly the same things.
And if I had the other camera on the other side, we would have seen maybe the IR beam coming from
the other camera used to be set up here on a bench that you can't quite see. But if that thing come down towards this way, the other camera wouldn't have seen it. It might have seen it heading towards that way and then disappear.
The other camera would penetrate that blackness a wee bit. So it's like something goes across the lens. But if we actually proved that. We actually got a blackout when we had the camera on the other side of the room later, the new one, and it did actually shine through the blackness. It's like it couldn't absorb all the IA light. It's a really strange artifact. It has to be paranormal as far as I'm concerned. Or some really strange camera manipulation that they're able to do. But yeah, you shouldn't be able to get a beam of light from LEDs of infrared from another camera opposite corner going through that blackness if it's a camera fault. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's like a really big filter suddenly went in front of the camera that absorbed all the infrared light. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I know would you filter out normal light? I'm not sure how the camera would work. Would it slide a filter in that filters out normal light apart from infrared?
Because normally it's the other way around, isn't it? So when you film in optical light, they normally have an IR filter in front that filters out all the IR light. And you can actually remove that and turn any camera back into a night vision camera, infrared camera, if you remove the filter. Normally you don't have it the other way around. Yeah, anyway.
It's your hand or body part, then that would be illuminated. And then I do come through.
Now I found, if I imagine my hands like have energy build up in them, that I could shoot that at these shadow creatures and it scares them off. Also, if you're worried about being attacked, if you can meditate and think of yourself inside a big shield that goes underground and around you like a big sphere, and you say you're not allowed to penetrate this field. It could be around the whole house. You could just imagine it around the whole house. That gets rid of the activity for a wee while. But yeah, hasn't happened much lately since I've had the cameras up though.
Well, actually, what I'm doing is I'm projecting energy out of my hands and in my head saying go away. It seems to work every time I have had paranormal attack in the past.
So I'm saying exactly the same
that I've
thing.
talked about in the past. But yeah, you can see I did that and then tried to get my heart rate back to normal, and I fell asleep again, which is kind of strange. I know most people wouldn't be able to go to sleep after that, but I was exhausted, man. Especially with all the drama online. So I'll just play it again.
Yeah, so you got to remember that me and my channel's been under constant attack by haters, right? Because I debunk stuff and I expose frauds out there, and namely GoofOn and Third Phase and Security, and so I come under a lot of attack, of course.
I'll turn it up a bit. I'm not sure if it's loud enough.
Okay, this is the whole video.
Look how that moved, right?
See how fast that moved. Normally you don't have dust that moves that fast either. You could say it was a bug. That's the only thing you could say it was. But then again, as I said, you don't get it any other time in that room.
Dust move that way. I've only seen...
And I've never ever woken up screaming after a dust particle has been filmed, so...
Bugs that move like that. But that didn't look like no moth, did it? We didn't see any... That's close enough to the camera to be able to see a shape.
Yeah, so you should see, like, if it had wings, you should be able to see... What I'm trying to say is you should be able to see the triangle wings. It was so close to the camera there. If it was flapping... you would have seen triangle bits, but we only saw orb when it was really, really close to the camera. And you can see this is at 6:30 in the morning, before the sun comes up. Just before the sun comes up. I think the sun was coming up about 7.
And then, how many seconds later? Not long after, I scream out. 40 seconds later, around about coming up here.
Okay, Google. It went like that.
So as soon as I said okay Google, the light turned on, then the screen went black like something was getting out of there. So yeah, having the voice thing on is really handy because, you know, if you've got a touch lamp, you've got to bend over and try and hit the lamp in the pitch black, and hopefully you hit the lamp when you sort of come out of a deep sleep. But I've never had anything like this happen at 6 a.m. But I've had paranormal attack at 10 a.m. So it does happen in the daytime. And it doesn't always happen at night time. It doesn't even happen between 3 and 4, but a lot of stuff does happen between 3 and 4 for some reason.
And if that was a bug, wouldn't we see it reflected off the IR light? Wouldn't it reflect off the bug onto the mirror there?
Even when I'm up, I hear doors opening and closing and stuff, and you see nothing on the cameras. So yeah, whatever this thing is, it's not good. But yeah, not sure if you could do anything more. If there's anything I missed there, I'll just minimize that. I don't think these guys are talking now, but anybody out there still? My rant scared them off. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's go back on there.
Now,
yeah,
that looks like it's above the sheet there. Let me just see. What's happened? It's got the thing popping up. Because I zoomed in.
it's brighter, brighter than my hand.
Now, wouldn't we see a reflection if it was a bug?
But we see it way back there. Where does it start going?
Now, if it's emitting normal light, would we even see it in oh yeah. I don't think so. Unless it had infrared in the light it's emitting.
Let's see if I can get it again. About here somewhere.
You'll see where it first appears.
We don't see it come down. At least I don't see it.
Now these are very thick curtains as well.
4 or 5 seconds after 30, is it?
They're called blackout curtains, so no light gets through.
At all?
I think it appears about here. We're doing frame by frame here. There it is.
There it is, there.
There.
I didn't see anything before then.
And look, it's moving all over the place.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a zigzag. And then upwards, and then that way, and then that way. You know, what dust does that?
There's no dust.
When there's no airflow. That's kind of weird.
And that was high enough to be reflected off here, I think. Anyway, I thought that was one of the most interesting orbs I ever captured. But yeah, like I said, I can show you what dust looks like in the same room. Not sure if I got any handy though. I probably should have looked for it on ahead of time. I know I did create a folder here with some of the stuff. So probably in that one there, is it? Have you got any ones called orbs? Here we go. Orb. What's that one there? Let's have a look at that one again. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, now I'm moving, right? Exactly the same as the other night. Now we expect dust to happen. Can we see any? It's not close to the camera to trigger. Nothing obvious. Oh, there we go. There's one. Just happened. Coming down, because as we flipped it up, it went up in the air. There's a cobweb. Cobweb in the corner. So we got one happened very quickly. What's that one? Oh yeah, we got the weird beep, which I later worked out was a camera artifact on the audio. If it gets a certain level, it unmutes the mic because it gets background noise, and it creates a weird beep sound. And I thought it was the multimeter I had next to the bed, but it wasn't turned on. And it has a similar beep sound. But we debunked that one. I thought it was playing around with the multimeter at first until I debunked it. Still no dust, obvious dust. Snoring. It's always good to recap this every couple of years. Just sometimes you find out new things, or have a new camera that catches something that sort of backs up the last camera or whatever. I didn't hear the beep. There's going to be a beep there. I don't hear any beep on it. No. There's going to be a beep on it. Alright, I just saw something move there. Did you see that? There was something moved there, which is probably dust. There you go. Probably dust, because it's really transparent. You see how different that one is? Could be dust, but most likely because it's so transparent. Well, there you go. But it's hard to know. It really is really hard to know. And then again, it's heading towards me. Have we got any other ones that are good? Meter debunk. Alright. Does that mean it was triggering when I was snoring? Sounds like I'm not breathing there. I've actually been doing nice with apnea, but I'm on a 5-month waiting list to get a machine. That's when you stop breathing for micro pauses and your CO2 in the blood builds up. Like there. Or something's trying to suffocate me. It's possible. Or I'm in a deep sleep. Again, I didn't hear any beeping. Oh, there. See a little, when I snore, it went ding ding ding. It's very hard to notice it. Yeah, maybe I'm still wrong. Maybe it is something paranormal. What was that one there? What was that one? So that's normally what the other camera would pick up, right? Pick up the LEDs in the room and any sort of bright. So what the hell's that? See, that's what I mean. You see sometimes these like flashing of lights. I don't know what that is. Let me just see if I can suss it out. That could be my EMF thing I set up. It flashes up and down depending if it's picking up EMF. Could be. I'm not sure. What's this one over here though? Yeah, it's been a while since I looked at this, so I'm not 100% sure anymore. I think that camera in the corner was filming the other camera. That's the other camera, and that's what it looks like on normal light. So the infrared LEDs do have some natural light on that the camera sees. And I think that's the meter that I got hanging on the TV, because I think the power supply was giving off an LED red light. That's why it's so bright. And I couldn't sleep with it in the end. I thought, no, it's just still too bright. So I don't have it on anymore, but yeah. It takes a long time to go through and look up stuff on your cameras and see if you can spot anything. Orb then Paul woke up. Here's the original videos, I think. And that must be before it, is it? Let's have a look. Yeah, that's just before it. I think I was recording every 3 minutes or something, was it? 3 or 5 minutes. It looks like I might go have it set up for every minute, actually. Every minute. This was the minute before. See that thing there? That's what I was talking about here. Normally I'd have it powered on, and I was trying to see if there's any EMF spikes when activity was happening, and I never did actually capture anything abnormal with the lights, so I stopped using it. But it was a good experiment. I modified it to run off DC through the wall socket there, so it didn't run 9-volt batteries dry. But again, this is the minute beforehand. There's nothing flying around. There's no dust. You can see I'm in a deep sleep. And this is where the orb suddenly shows up. It happens really quick. There it is. Boom. Now we're about to see if it reflects over here. So let's just go back on that. See if there's any reflections or anything like that. Now, it should have shown up by now. Didn't see anything. Which is a bit unfortunate, really. It would have been good if it did reflect off the mirror. Here it comes now on the other screen. Didn't see anything there at all. So yeah, it's a bit hard to know. Still, I was trying to find some examples of dust, but I just haven't got any saved here. Oh yes, that same day, I think Dad heard, because I overslept, I think. I slept in that day because of that happening in the night. I think it was the same day, was it? Dad claims he heard someone yell, help me, outside. He was outside digging his garden at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I grabbed all the videos around the time and tried to listen in carefully on all the mics on the cameras, and I couldn't find any voices on it apart from his and him talking to the dog. Okay, we might have something here. Jet plane. Orb with contrail. Raining orb. Here we go. Maybe that's the video that we're after. Okay, finally. Okay, this is what normally happens when I go to bed. I've been moving around, and for the next 30 minutes you have all the dust floating around, and it eventually settles. And that's what dust looks like, right? It looks transparent. It's not solid like the other one was. Alright, so that's what dust looks like. Skin flakes normally in the bedroom. But it could be normal dirt from outside. We got that little blank out business happening again. It happened there for some reason. It's funny how my foot's moving around there though. I thought I saw it blink out. Hang on, I'll just go back. See all these bits coming down because you shake up the bed and it goes up in the air currents and then it originally comes down. You can see I'm awake there still, just trying to drift off. No snoring, you see. So yeah, determine what's paranormal orbs versus everything else. Very tricky. But there's one of those things. Why did that happen? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Because you've got to remember it's pitch black, you know, the camera makes it look like it's daytime. So why did that happen? And you can see it looks like it dimmed off a bit there. See that there? It's just instant, you know. Like one frame. Could have been something in the room as well. And perhaps people should set up cameras in their bedroom and just see what you capture, you know. But anyway, enough on orbs, I think. Moving on. This is why we called it paranormal research, right? Yeah, I'll catch up with the side comments and just have a quick look through other comments here just in case there's something else. You can see not many people look at my stuff, you know. 15, 61 was the most one. No loves, of course. They'll mostly be skeptics looking, probably. During my first week on the ranch. So it's really like what I was catching in the bedroom. but they're catching it with flash. Just so, reason. If you just use a normal optical thing, you never see it like that though. It has to be a really bright light, and it has to be close to the camera. What did Joe Rogan say? Remember Joe Rogan, he said his one experience was poltergeist. Was on Halloween night when he and his wife were in bed and heard a loud crash downstairs in the house, but when they investigated, they found nothing. Surprise, surprise. And that's what happens here. Sometimes you hear what looks like, sounds like talking, like a low, you can't really make out what it's saying though. And you check the cameras, and the camera's not picking it up, but you can hear it. You know, people put that down to what you call sound hallucinations. Even though you're wide awake, you know, you just gone to bed, just trying to drift off, and you start hearing what sounds like people talking. Just goes to show any idiot can be rich. Yeah, so obviously skeptics, right? Until you experience stuff yourself, you'll never ever believe, right? Anyway, enough on that one. Anything down the side here? I can't sleep without my machine. You got a Apner machine. Yeah. They cost like over $2,000 New Zealand. That's $1,000 US. And they only last 5 years apparently. And they've got to be serviced and the filters changed and all that. Alright, pretty quiet on the side chats there. Scared off people? You got to remember, it does. I have been scared by it, but I've always been on the attack, right? So if something happens, I'm always ready to fight for my life versus run. And most people will run and not fighters. And if you don't put up with it, that sort of keeps them at bay. So I think it's because I had that out of body when I was 13, and it allowed me to be open. And once someone brings paranormal your way, like my sister did, or the suicide person did, then you start have things happening that you notice, because they realize then that you can sense them, so they try harder to try and get your attention. Who knows what happens when we die? That's the whole problem. You know, if it's like out of body, you're still you, but you're sort of free floating, and you can't hear anything, but you can sense and see things, and you can feel things, but you can't hear anything, which is really strange. You think you'd have all your senses even when you're dead, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, so when I turned around, when I was floating above me, when I managed to flip myself around, it scared the shit out of me, right, when I saw myself in bed. And it happened in like a split second. It's like he ended up bouncing in bed, like he'd been shocked, like something had punched right through your chest and woken you up, right? So it was almost like your soul was going back into the body. And of course I knew nothing about, I wasn't religious, and I knew nothing about out-of-body experience, and I still didn't understand it back then. I didn't know it was called out-of-body until many years later, when it started showing up on TV shows, and also some magazines I was buying. and then I realized, shit, that happened to me. So yeah, it wasn't the sort of thing the libraries stocked was paranormal stuff or UFO stuff. The libraries didn't have anything like that. I think the most they did is maybe Loch Ness monsters or sea monsters being prehistoric dinosaurs and stuff like that. But anyway, carry on. We'll try and do third phase. But while we're on paranormal, I might just talk about XLS Camera. I'll just go full screen here while I try and find it. Okay, so Ghost Adventures is back on TV, and they're the ones that heavily use it and promote it. And we talked about this last time. So XLS Camera, as you can see in this picture here, sends out a load of dots from infrared LED on it, and the dots reflect back infrared, and it works out the focus of the lens, and especially in low light, but also during daytime. And it has a IR filter, so you don't see that. You don't see all the dots over your image, right? If you took out the filter, you would see all the dots, especially at night time, where you haven't got bright light, and you see all the dots over the person you're taking the picture of. But what they've done here is, I didn't realize, but SLS cameras have various modes on it where it can do like a color the dots and edges. Alright, I can see it looks like several shapes happening, but we'll come back to that image, break it down. I did a Google thing here where the AI kicked in. So it's called Structured Light Sensor, that's where the name comes from. Is a device that projects an invisible grid of infrared dots to create a 3D model of its environment, detecting changes in the grid caused by movement to form stick figure representations of human shapes. Originally developed for the Xbox Kinect, the technology was adapted for paranormal investigations where it's used to detect virtualized potential spirit forms or ghosts that are invisible to the naked eye, appearing on the screen as stick figure anomalies. This video explains the basics. Okay, let's see if we can see what the video does. If it's going to let us. I don't know whose video it is and why it's taken so long to play. Typical Google, always trying to force ads when we don't want it.
Okay, so
okay, so using a smartphone version of it.
really get into it, let's start with the basics. For anyone maybe new to this kind of paranormal tech, what is GhostTube SLS?
Okay, so at its core, it's a mobile app. It's marketed as a kind of modern, more accessible alternative to a traditional SLS camera.
SLS being structured light sensor.
That's the one. A piece of kit lots of, seasoned paranormal investigators use. The app's main goal is to use your smartphone's own tech.
The camera and sensor's already in there.
Exactly, to try and detect and then show you what it...
So we know that. But they're not really demonstrating that with the images. No. I thought it's going to show the LEDs matrix, and nah, it's not a very good video at all, AI. So we'll pass on that. And the new version is called XLS, which I guess means extended. An XLS camera is typically a piece of ghost hunting equipment that uses 3D mapping technology similar to LiDAR to create real-time 3D models of a room and its contents, often displaying spirit forms as stick figures that cannot be seen with the naked eye. So, according to the ghost hunters, the XLS doesn't suffer from false positives like the SLS does. Now, I asked that guy that's a skeptic debunker about it, and he says he's lying. It still uses the IRD LEDs dot system. But I said, no. Can you debunk it? And I gave him links to this. I said, I think it's probably what they call an XLS camera, and it does use LiDAR for 3D mapping, so I don't think he's correct. I'll see if he gets back to me later on and actually buys one of the devices to play around with and proves it creates false positives still, but by then it may not never happen, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So I'm not too sure. There's two ways they could use it. They could use the LiDAR on the system. Not all phones have it. Only iPhones have LiDAR. Androids don't use it for autofocusing. But the latest iPhones now use it for better autofocusing instead of using the IRD dot system. And so it's really hard for me to try it on my gear because I don't have iPhone. But we know that McQuest has demonstrated the LiDAR working to debunking Skinwalker Ranch stuff. What the problems are with it. It creates what you call shadowing, because any grass or bush in front hides what's behind it, or a car, or rock, or bush, tree. Or if you're stationary and don't move around, you get blind spots, and it creates these little black holes in the image. We talked about that before last weekend when we were talking about the helicopter where it went all black, and talking about the holes in the mesa where it reflects the laser from the LiDAR at different angles and doesn't go back to the camera device, so it leaves these little black voids. So there's two ways they could use it. They could use it real time, or they could use it as a base. So if you go into a room before anyone enters it, you could LiDAR scan it, and it could work out where all the objects are in the room, all the sharp edges. Using the LiDAR, it's more accurate, right? It creates a 3D model. And then they can have people then enter it and do, the investigation, and then it uses the normal dot system for anything that it takes through the kinetic mapping, and overlay on the already scanned images of the 3D mapping they did, and it could work out eliminate the edges being false positives. So they may have modified the software, even though this guy I talked to said they haven't modified anything. I don't think he's correct. So yeah, the latest season I took the image from was they call it house calls, where they go around to typical people's houses instead of haunted locations, right? And they go around to a person's house and see if they've got demonic spirits or whatever in the place, and try and help them rid it or whatever. So it could be using that. It could be used to scan a room for a base thing to eliminate chairs, edges of walls and all that, and then it just uses normal SLS, and then they could get rid of the false positives, or it could do it in real time. Now, I'm not sure how accurate it would be in real time, and maybe it just uses LiDAR to work out whether there's stick images as well. So there's a lot of unknowns how it works exactly, but from what I've read, it sounds like it's more like to be the first scenario where they scan it first before anyone enters the room. You could have you could store all the 3D models of the rooms in a memory card. As you enter it, you could just bring it up for that room as you're scanning, right? But anyway, it's quite interesting that at least people are trying technology to try and detect things. I think that's what we need to do. How it works: infrared lasers and LiDAR. The camera uses infrared lasers similar to the technology. I haven't read this before, so we'll just do it now. Similar to technology in the LiDAR sensor to send out beams and receive information about the environment. 3D mapping. The camera software processes data to create a real-time 3D map of the space, allowing it to detect objects and potential paranormal activity that may not be visible. Doesn't really explain it very well there. Spirit detection. The system aims to identify and map spirit forms as stick outlines, often displaying them with joints like hips, shoulders, and hands. Blah blah blah. Ghost hunting. XLS camera are primarily used by paranormal investigators to capture evidence. Enhanced detection. They are intended to provide more objective way to detect hidden spirits and their movements, which may occur too quickly or subtly for human eyes to see. Stick figure mapping. The camera displays detected paranormal entities as stick, solid orbs, and mist. Beyond stick figures, these cameras may also capture solid looking orbs that cast shadows and mist anomalies. Okay. Real-time 3D program. The software provides real-time mapping. So it sounds like it's real-time there, doesn't it, from the AI? The XLS camera is very good, so if you capture something that's not a reflection, it's most likely real. I also have a SLS camera, so there's someone on Reddit talking about it. But no one knows how it exactly works, and we want to know the guts of it, right? We don't know if there's any false positives. Is that really true or not? I hate XLS camera and wouldn't mind seeing it permanently removed from the show. I'm in the mindset that too, because if it's creating false positives, like we reviewed that one with the app, if it's that bad, then it shouldn't be used at all in my book either, as proof of anything really. Unless you got really supporting other evidence that backs it up at the same time. Generally there isn't solid proof, right? Isn't hard evidence. I'd rather see them take 100 polarized shots. Would like to see them have it as a static camera in a high event area. Okay. So yeah, a lot of people talking about the show and the use of it here. And they're quite expensive. Got a link to one here somewhere. Well, I did have. Here we go. So this has got some pictures of their one connected to a tablet. So this is the camera system here. I guess one is the receiving lens and the other one is the transmitting lens of the laser or infrared dots. which is now built into the back of most people's phones now. So yeah, let's just have a look at all the images. There we go, full screen. Yeah, it's not a really good layout of a page. Let me just move that out of the way. Let's shrink it down a wee bit. It's really 80. It doesn't seem to be helping it much. So yeah, let's try to sell it for $450 US. That's like $1,000 our money. That would be like 2.5 weeks income for me. We now have customized software that the image has been corrected, no longer 180 degrees off, it just like any other camera. Be one of the first to have our second generation XLS 3D skeletal mapping camera. Our unique design is the most compact, lightweight and user-friendly XLS camera on the market. Uses the Kinetic 1 sensor and software. So it doesn't sound like the software has been customized there, does it? Has an internal 6000 mAh battery, so that's 6 amps per hour. So if the camera's using 2 amps, it will last 3 hours, yeah, or just below that. To power the kinetic sensor for complete mobility, all software including screen recorder is installed and ready to use. The difference between XLS and the SLS is that the XLS has 3D mapping technology as well as 2D. Also has infrared night vision mode in 2D and 3D mapping. 2D and 3D map. So it sounds like it's using a combination of the dots and the LiDAR, right? Plus grayscale, even though they don't mention LiDAR here. Plus grayscale 3D mapping comes with a refurbished 10-inch or larger Microsoft Surface tablet. So why they using Microsoft? Probably because it doesn't run on Android software. Because Kinetics is written by Microsoft, so it has to run on a x86 processor probably. And most phones and tablets don't use that chip, but they use some sort of what do you call it, RISC type chip set nowadays. Low power, economic. Unit weighs less than 4 pounds and comes fully assembled, ready to use. Almost 4 pounds, about 2 kgs. I think it is 1.5 kgs. So a bottle of 1.5 litre Coke, I suppose it weighs. I suppose most of that would be the screen and the battery. Instructional video is preloaded onto the tablet. No handle included. However, the camera has a built-in accessory adapter on the bottom of the unit, where a monopod with ours, and it works great. Comes with a case. Software also has the ability to show more than one view at a time when investigating. What's that mean exactly? You will have to hook up an external mouse or to manipulate the settings of the software for this feature. Also, you can use the external battery to power charge the tablet for prolonged investigations. It's usually recommended to fully charge both tablet and sensor battery prior to every use. Now includes tablet adapter for housing battery to charge while investigating. For that kind of money, you'd expect it to come with something, wouldn't you? So yeah, it's a lot of money to buy with a camera that has false positives, but I reckon these ones don't. So yeah, so can we get the other images up? There we go. So it looks very similar to what Ghost Adventures uses. I'd say it'd be identical. But I don't remember seeing this. What's this behind? Is it their grid pattern? I don't know. Slightly different, isn't it? And there's it offset 180 degrees by the looks of it. So it's landscape instead of portrait only. So there's a chair. And it does make it stand out, I must admit, compared to the software that I was using. And if you get a stick image over top of the chair, you know it's not, it's a false positive. So maybe it is better, you know. What's that meant to be? Person standing? I don't know. 2D mapping node. What's that one? Well, it definitely looks like a hallway. Also, they've got various templates, so it's got a checkered thing for the floor there, of the same view here. Anyway, I'll post a link to it. Maybe you can want to have a look at that a bit better. It's not the best of pages for some reasons. For some reason, to scale the images. It's always because of this big header, I suppose. Anyway, doesn't matter. So yeah, I'd like to see that sorted out. Jasper, how's it going? Happy birthday, thank you. I won't say my age, it's too scary. I thought going past 30 was bad enough, and then 40 happened, and then 50 happened, so I'm heading upwards. Michael, Liz, Blue Chicken, hey. For that Bigelow photo, I'm not sure, did I miss something there? Could be snow, oh right, flurries. Snowflakes, yeah. Ice crystals, you mean? Yes, it could be ice crystals as well. Anything that sort of reflects and spinning. I'll just post this up here. I don't know about people out there, but I find it's like a interesting topic, especially if you experience stuff yourself and then you want to find out more. The unknown does. I used to be absolutely petrified, and nowadays I'm not anymore. I sort of worked out how to deal with it. You know, as a kid I used to be a bit scared of the dark, but I'm not anymore. But yeah, I think it's good therapy. Doesn't make it go away though. But they know not to mess around with you, because if you're strong, whatever it is, whether it's like energy bands, whether it's multiverse things, or dead people, who knows? They know not to mess with you. Could even be dead animals, I guess. I hope it's true though, because I miss Charlie and I'd like to see him again. So yeah, if there's an afterlife, it would be good, you know, or you meet up with all people that have passed on. That would be really good if it's true, but of course we don't know. And that's the most frustrating thing about being alive, is that we don't know what happens when we're dead. Do we just break down into a pile of atoms again? Which a lot of people believe is the case. And the body's just part of it. And the energy carries on. But does it really? XLS Camera. So we need to find out more about this in future. But that's why I bring it up now. It's funny that AI didn't actually say what the XLS stood for, like it did with the SLS one. What's going on here? Okay, I thought it was going wrong. Wrongy. So let's have a look at the picture. Oh, it's doing that again, is it? Let's have a look at the picture and then we start closing down some tabs. So, is there any reason what that could be creating a stick figure? Certainly doesn't look like your normal regular human one, but then look at this one here. Looks like they've added little diamond and circular shapes on the joints. So the software thinks that's the arm and the hand there, and the hand there, which, by looking at the overlay, is correct. So this one's got to be feet, legs, thighs, and then it goes up to the head, which would have to be that there, the neck and head, on a really strange angle. And this would have to be one arm of a hand, and this one here is really strange, really thin line, then going this way. But could it be mapping stuff? I've noticed this one goes here to the edge of the top of the bed, and that goes up to the ceiling, right? Which has got a line run in, as you know, there's like a line because it's a box. Looks like that's up near the ceiling. To me, that looks like a false positive, right? And then it's picking up the edge of what looks like a door behind you there. And edge of a chair, I think, is behind it there, or something there. Could be a lamp next to the bed. So to me it looks like a false positive, and that means that this guy here, this one here, Sack, is telling lies to these people that actually believe what he's telling them, which is really bad, you know. Really, they should have been tested for psychological tests, right? Or it should have been other like experts involved before telling people they're possessed by entities, right? Now, to get maybe a psych test done to prove that you're not hallucinating and stuff would be beneficial for a show in the first place. But also, if you were experiencing stuff, it would be quite good. But yeah, if you can catch it on film the same way you saw it with your eyes, though, that sort of gives you your own personal credibility, and there's no other people around to contaminate the scene like it has on these shows. They have like 50 camera crew members behind the scene, right? Nowadays, in the early days it was just them with a camera, which is the way it should be done, like on hobby ghost hunter teams do. You know, normally have like 2 or 3 people walking around with a camera and recorders and whatnot. Now he catches a thing that sounds like a scream on the recorder, I don't know if that can be produced as an artifact. But the guy, the skeptic, looked at the episode. He said he told him they're using a DR60, which is known to cause errors. So let's have a look at DR60. I forgot to look at it. DR60 Ghost Hunter, and I think that might stand for digital recorder. So let's have a look. Let's see what comes up. Why all the love for paranormal for the Panasonic RR-DR60 voice? What is it? What is it? Have we got a picture of it? If it's a digital recorder, then I don't know. What's the problem with it? Sony Olympics test cam recorders. Don't most digital voice recorders have sort of VOR or voice operated recording that does the exact same thing? The first voice recorder that I bought with a Sony and had VOR. So it only records when it picks up sounds, is what they're saying there. Is that could be a problem, I guess. But you want to record it that's recording constantly, don't you? Because the voice could be lower before its detection level. And that means if you get someone cough, you could have "Rrr." But then again, they normally have it on camera at the same time. That debunks it being an artifact on those digital recorders. So I'm not sure what the skeptic's talking about, because that means if they catch it on normal camera at the same time, of course it didn't happen on the episode he looked at, then that sort of rules it out being an artifact of noise. So yeah, we need a picture of one of these automatic voice recorders. Analysis of alleged electronic voice phenomenon. Here's someone debunking that, by the looks of it. He's putting his finger down. Is that the device there, is it? Panasonic. Because there are devices called the Oblus, and they're really dodgy. Apparently you feed in, you type in the words that you want it to come up on the investigation. So you could type in, if you're going to like a haunted house, you could put house, haunted, and then you could put the names of the people that are at that location, or demons, you know, all the things you've heard about the place. You could just type it in there as words, and it could randomly just bring up those words, right? And that's just garbage. So they shouldn't be using that sort of technology because it's misleading. Like I said, the best one would be to use REM pods and lay it out with all the 26 letters of the alphabet. It doesn't have to be a QWERTY keyboard. It could be A to Z, and they could just light up if it was true communication, and you could spell out words that way. And it eliminates false positives. And if you got full sentences and words and names of people, and then you go and investigate the location and see if any of those people's names existed, and you find out in the library or census data that there was someone actually of that name in that particular area, that sort of gives it more credibility. So yeah, what's he saying about it? Let's have a look.
Testing the DR60. Are there any ghosts here? End of session.
Testing the DR60. Are there any ghosts here? End of session.
Okay, this sort of debunks it straight away, doesn't it? Sounds very similar to what they got on that Ghost Adventures episode. So how did that sound get on there?
What a piece of crap. Cue the opening.
So is that firmware problem in that case?
Testing the DR60. Are there any ghosts here? End of session.
Testing the DR60. Are there any ghosts here? End of session.
What a...
Now, he didn't make any bang noise, did he? That sound that come up. So where's it getting that sound from? I could hear it sort of like had an echo in the background though. It's not one of these that picks up the radio or any loud radio source nearby.
A piece of crap.
Let's just go through it.
Put the text on the screen so you know what you're supposed to be listening to. Anyway, so again, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but I haven't been able to because of the one restriction. I haven't been able to afford to get one. Now
that's the problem I have too, mate.
Asking these type of questions, and they're when they listen to this and they get these little growls, even the subtle ones.
Okay, so we do hear. It's not true on all tape recorders though. We've heard full sentences and words, not just growl sounds, right? So maybe they could debunk the ground sounds on this thing, which is the same crap that Ghost Adventures was using. They should know that it's not the best equipment to use then. They shouldn't be using it on any investigation. So he misled that woman saying, what is that? He would have known if he's watched the debunk videos on this.
It sounds like a response. Actually, I mean, some of the recordings that
So he did something there, didn't he?
Are a lot of ghost hunters saying that this is the Holy Grail. You saw before the intro, I did a little clip where I asked for any ghosts, and you heard like this growl noise, and that's the typical response. We get growls, loud growls. It sounds like somebody's like, rawr, something like that. But we also get very subtle ones. There's very subtle noises that also sound like growls, but when you're listening for something specific, like in the context of, are there any ghosts here? What's your name? These kind of questions that we see in ghost hunting shows and on ghost investigations where people gather around. They're called EVP sessions. And they're asking these type of questions. And when they listen to this and they get these little growls, even the subtle ones, it sounds like a response. Actually, I mean, some of the recordings that I have with this, it actually sounds like someone's talking in the background.
It does too, doesn't it?
Is it? No. We'll get to that later. But I just want to give you some more demonstration.
So we want to know what's causing it then. Because it still doesn't eliminate it being paranormal though, at all. Unless they can prove it technically.
Coming from? Where are these noises coming from? So this made me go into a little bit deeper. I came across a gentleman named Dr. John P. Costella, and I tried to reach out to him. I did reach out to him, but I could not get connected. He's got some privacy barriers up. I just couldn't get a hold of him. If you're watching this, Dr. Costella, please contact me. I'd love to talk to you a little bit further because he put out this amazing analysis of the DR60. He really went into it. He is a very smart guy. He's a data scientist. Works in DC. He has a bachelor's in electronic engineering, graduated top of his class. He's got a PhD in theoretical.
Yeah. Just, what did you find out?
On his LinkedIn page, the guy's smart. He knows what he's talking about. But he did a breakdown of this.
recording because he went on a ghost hunt. He went on I think a ghost tour in 2022 and with his wife around the DC area, and they got exposed to a team using these. So he got interested and he set up some tests, trying to test the some hypotheses. He believed that there's a couple things here. I'm going to read them off here because they're interesting, and I think they are. I'm going to put the link in the video on the bottom here so you can go to it yourself. But he believed that there were 4 things that could possibly be going on here. One is that the DR60 software had bugs in it, resulting in it making up sounds that never entered the microphone.
Yeah, I said that firmware bug. Yeah.
Number 2 is the DR60 was not filtering out high frequency or ultrasonic sounds, and these were being aliased.
Okay, so low frequency sounds we don't hear, so it could be somehow amplifying it up. That's correct. Again, that would be really under firmware issue there.
Down to normal voice frequencies. We'll come back to that. Number 3 was the DR60's electronic circuits were picking up electromagnetic interference, effectively converting the induced currents into sound signals. And number 4...
Okay, so that's what I said too. Radio frequencies from a transmitter. Somehow picking up in the coil on it and converting it into sound on the recording. You don't hear with your ears, like a crystal radio.
Or paranormal phenomena were able to rewrite the bits and bytes in the digital storage of the DR60, implanting sound messages there directly. So it's a couple pages long. I'm not going to go into everything.
So it's pretty much we're not too sure then. But yeah, exactly what I said. I have got some electronic background too. But yeah, I can see that's a load of garbage. So yeah, shouldn't use that at all in investigations. And I'm just wondering how many people are using that particular device then in that case, because it adds in artifacts. Maybe it just goes to show, maybe you should go back to the old reel-to-reel tape recorders of the old days. I'm pretty sure I mucked around with it as a kid, the old reel-to-reel, and never had any strange sounds like that appear when I was using the microphone. But I'm pretty sure I've seen old ghost hunters using those reel-to-reel, and they have got EVPs, so... This is a problem with these shows that focus on latest technology, but it's good that people debunk stuff like this, and we should watch out for it on shows and call it out. But yeah, Ghost Adventures, shame on you for using that in that episode. So he plays that sort of growl noise and then shows this, which to me, again, looking at the image, shows it's reflecting off certain points. And I reckon there was nothing going on there. Other than them saying they were feeling cold spots. That's all they managed to record. Go and have a watch of the episode anyway yourself. But yeah. That sort of ruins it. Really, because I know this is real paranormal, and something like that just ruins it. What's happened here? Alright, I've got just a general tab there. Finished with that one. I might just have a small break because I need to go to the toilet. And what was that one? Yeah. So they need to get rid of that recorder, and they need to get rid of that gear and just go back to basics again. So yeah, I'll just be back in a minute, guys, because I've got a dash. And I'll just put up something anyway. What though? sheep UFO. We'll just try that one. I'll be back in a minute. I don't know if it's working though. Oh yeah. for a few hours now. Yeah, I'm back. Did everybody stay around? Okay. There's our sheep, or the UFO chasing the sheep. Has it stopped now? Haven't used that emanation. Just do a halt. Make sure it stopped. Some utility I wrote for this. Streaming. It's unique, only Paul has it. Well, when that minimize. So we've got a fair bit more to cover yet. Any questions out there? Any comments on what we've done so far? So let's have a look. If it's any correlation, I'm 52. Oh, you're just a spring chicken then, compared to me. Time just flies by, especially if you don't work. When you're at work, time always seems to crawl, I find. When you're at home, it seems to speed up. You never get anything done at home. This is sort of my full-time job now. But I think I'm doing good, you know. I think there should be a lot more people watching me and learning this stuff, right? UFOs and paranormal. So we got some UFO stuff to talk about now, I think. I don't think there's any paranormal bits left to talk about today. Anyway, this old case has been brought up again in Canada, and they reckon it's not solved. So apparently there was it 3 bright lights or 2 bright lights disappeared above a high rise. They had a swimming pool at the very top, and it had like a overcast, cloudy day, and you could only see it if you were near the building or on the building, not far away. And it hasn't been solved, and the woman that was in the swimming pool said it was a UFO. But this is the best picture we got, you know. So to me, it kind of looks like a spotlight in the clouds, right? But there was another building next to it that was taller. To me, it looks like someone just hanging something out the window there and just lighting up the clouds for a couple of hours for some reason. Maybe to fool people, I don't know. That's what it looks like to me. But anyway, I think I got the full story here. Well, I had the full story. Have I got it in order? Let me just have a look at all this stuff that we're going to talk about. Thought I had a better story. Maybe I've lost it. It happens. It happens. Okay. Come back to all that in a minute. Come back to that. Come back to that. Come back to that. Yeah, it looks like I may have lost it. It doesn't matter. We'll just read out what they got here. This was a big deal in 1990. Some UFO showed up. Some UFO? A UFO showed up in downtown Montreal. A lot of people witnessed it. I think it was about 30 people witnessed it. There is a building downtown where there is a swimming pool and a bar on the roof, and the people up there called the police, and the press got there and took this picture. Not very good, press. Why don't you take a video of it? And why don't they go up to the top of the building and film it up there and interview the people? There's a lot more questions than answers, really. So this person says, I was in Montreal when this event occurred at the Benehaventure Hotel. There should be an article on it in the Gazette archives. I spoke to one of the eyewitnesses who was a doorman at the hotel. In matter of fact way, I asked him what he had seen the previous night over the hotel. By the way, the UFO hovered over the Bonaventure for a while, then flew over to the Olympic Stadium for a while. Flew over, or did someone just change the angle of the beam of light? You don't always see a beam of light, but you can certainly see reflection of clouds. I've done it myself. I don't know about you guys. You can do it with a laser pointer or some bright LED torch, right? And if you've got low cloud, of course, or a foggy night, that's pretty good too. But foggy nights, generally you can see the beam. After that, when I asked the doorman what he had seen, a very different look came over his face, which was one of fear and genuine puzzlement, and the colour drained from his face. All he repeated was, I don't know, I don't know. Well, was it making any sound? How did it look? Yeah, there's lots of things we want to know. From what the doorman told me, it didn't make any sound, and essentially, which if you had a spotlight on the clouds, it wouldn't make any sound either. Essentially, it was a hovering array of lights. That's perhaps why he was so perspex, because the UFO wasn't displaying any means of keeping itself up in the air. It just sat there motionless, hovering over the hotel, and then went and hovered over the Olympic Stadium, and then hovered away. But did they actually see a structure? They're talking about just a ray of lights, which sounds to me like someone hanging out disco lights out the window of an apartment, right? Or even flying a kite on top of a building with lights on it, you know. What the F? That is weird. Really makes you wonder if it's still out there. Personal accounts aside, that picture could be anything. Too bad cameras were not more carried around back then. Or, well, smartphones. 1990, I don't think there was any cameras on smartphones back then. In fact, a smartphone, is that when they just started coming out, was it? No, not even back then, was it? About 1990s, wasn't it? 1998. No, even then they went out. When were the first smartphones? I know we've looked at this before. What happened there? Element inspector. When was first smartphone? Obviously it came out with iPhone, probably, but it may have been something before then. I think BlackBerry was the main one before then, wasn't it? And it wasn't a smartphone. Let's see. IBM Simon, released in August 1994, is widely considered the first smartphone. Okay, it's got an LCD touchscreen on it. It's not really a smartphone as such, though, isn't it? A ground-mounted device and combine the functions of a mobile phone with a touch Screen offered features like sending faxes, emails. So you could type emails on it. Okay. So it must have had a keyboard on the flip side, did it? So you'd have to type it in blind and then turn it around, just make sure there's no typos. Okay, so even then, 1994 didn't even have a camera on it, so when did the first iPhone come out? First iPhone. That would be the true year. So 2007 onwards, that would be about right, wouldn't it? And they're pretty crappy, some of the early Google variants, with like 300k of memory, which was ridiculous. First phone was the iPhone. I think the iPhone had a camera. Phone with camera. It was pretty low pixels, wasn't it? 2 megapixel, 1 megapixel. The first commercially available phone with camera was the Korea VP, launched in Japan 1999. Yep, that'd be about right. Didn't the first real smartphone had to be an iPhone, didn't it? With a camera, 2007 onwards. Yeah, so it gives you a sort of idea. So before then, it's not likely anyone would have cameras on them. Apart from reporters, though. And video cameras were like a problem. And of course the early phones didn't do video, they did photos only, wasn't it? When was the first phone with video capture? Saying it could create video back in 1990, okay. Probably right. Go back to that. So it looks like he's deleted, or people deleted posts here. Here's what I found on Wikipedia. Cubic witness reported a round metallic object. Well, that's not a ray of light, though, is it? Of about 540 meters wide over the rooftop pool of the Bonaventura Hotel. Eyewitnesses saw 8 to 10 lights forming into a circle above them, emitting bright white. But that going sounds like a disco light spinning around in a circle. But yeah, if they saw a physical object, why didn't we get a photograph of it? Metallic object. So that sort of changes it, doesn't it? So it could have been a real UFO. Or a helicopter, even. But how would a helicopter be able to hover there for hours? But I think it was up there for a couple of hours, wasn't it? Let's see, the phenomenon lasted 3 hours from 7 to 10 PM. I think we can discount it being a helicopter, can't we? Let's see. How long can a heli hover? Just try that. AI's kicking in. How's the audio anyway? Is the audio working? Since I come back, I always got to check it. Yeah, it looks like it's working. My end anyway. Let's see. Helicopter can hover for as long as it has sufficient fuel. Yeah, we know that. Stupid AI. Which can range from a few minutes to over 2 hours. So not 3 hours then, depending on the helicopter type, fuel capacity and environment conditions. But how they would have heard it though is another thing. So I think we can discount it being a helicopter. If a helicopter were able to hover for 12 hours, why wouldn't it? That's quite a strange thing. And can hover in place. What's this? Over 12 hours, the helicopter will hover almost stationary. What's this? So that's different to what the AI was telling us. When the helicopter reaches its highest point, excuse me, just had this really dry tickly throat just come at an instant at me. Maintains attitude at hover speed, will match the speed of the air around it, and will no longer experience drift similar to how a fly is moving, but is not carried to the back. I don't know what that's talking about. Can a hover fly for 2 hours? Most helicopters are designed to fly around 2,5 hours. That's 2.5 hours, I think they mean there. 2.5 hours with a full tank of fuel. So it's not quite 3 hours then, so that rules out helicopter. Can a helicopter fly for 4 hours? Helicopters can usually fly, and now this one's extended it 2.5 to 5 hours before needing to refuel. So then again, that puts the helicopter back in the scenario, doesn't it? So could it have been simply a kite or a balloon that looks like a circular object with some LEDs around the outside that someone was using it to create a event around the hotel to bring in tourists there? You know, it's like a prank, but use it for advertising. So that's my gut feeling, since it's around a particular hotel where it was actually only able to be visible from. Kind of strange to me. No one else could see it from too far away. So it kind of sounds to me like something the owner was up to, hired someone to do something. Could have been a blimp someone hired, even with lights on it, right? You just don't know, really. It's very suspect why it would be hovering over a pool with people in a swimming pool and no one getting abducted or anything like that. So I'm really skeptical of this one, especially since there's no proof of anything solid in any of the photographs taken. But yeah, I thought it was worth bringing up. It's going to be one of the better cases that hasn't been solved. Well, none could identify the lights. A few witnesses, according to the next day reports, were ready to express their belief that they were visited by aliens. Here is more pictures of it. Okay, let's have a look. I don't really see an array of lights though, do you? Still again, looks like beams of lights going up to it or down from it there. Another one. It's interesting stuff though, isn't it? It's an interesting case. And it's not even in America. What happened there? Looks like it's in French, is it? Canadians use French. No longer available. I guess that's what it's saying there. Aliens lot aliens. Laugh out loud aliens since then. All kinds of claims popped up about the event, like how people from NORAD would have went to the Canadian authorities and confiscated all the police reports. One thing sure is that the police and even the RCMP, whatever that is, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, I guess, had the time to show up and witness it. The French page you linked to says this incident actually shed light on a little known atmospheric effect. They also talk about 2 vantage points, and it seems that everybody who was at the second vantage point identified the object as a strange reflection rather than an actual object. So now the truth is coming out, is it? Didn't read the whole thing through. It's over 40,000 words. Well, we didn't get to see it at all because it's been deleted. They concluded it was light pillars which are caused by the interaction of light with ice crystals. Well, it certainly looked like a low cloud there with ice particles in it. I don't know if it's a light pillar though. I still look to say it could easily have been someone flying some sort of ad balloon to try and promote the hotel, kept it secret, and just set up some lights to make it look like a UFO from something that I saw on a movie like Close Encounters. So this is the problem we have in this field. We don't know if it's real, but I think it was on Proof Was Out There TV show. They said they classed it as a genuine UFO because there's not enough evidence to prove it either way, which is fair enough, I guess. I would class it like MUFON does. I would have said not enough information to say what it was. What did they class it as? They have unknown as one of the classes, and then they have balloons and all the other ones, right? But what would you do for lack of information? How would you write that up? Not enough information. NEI. NEI is a stamp for that. I don't know. Question mark, maybe. So this is the other case that wasn't actually solved, but let's just have a look at it now. It happened in 1979. It's called, let's see if we can say it, Ciccone incident. A military pilot photographs UFO over Italy and verified by multiple witnesses. The image shows a cigar shape in broad daylight. Shame we didn't have decent cameras back then as well, right? So yeah, I've got some various links to this, which puts some question marks on it, of course. So let's have a quick look at it. What do you reckon it looks like? Does it look like it's a craft to you though? To me it kind of looks like this, a typical solar tube balloon, or it kind of looks like it's got a seam there where it's been sealed off and it's probably got helium inside it. Can't see any lines dangling from it. He's photographed it from his plane. Looks like it's some sort of school below, is it? Looks like playgrounds there. Motorways. Looks like a river. Or is it? Or is it simply a deck of a ship here, like an aircraft carrier? and that's the sea. It's a bit hard to tell, isn't it? Oh, my microphone went the opposite direction. Hope that sounded alright. Is it looking at a land mass below? Or is it looking at the sea? This is where colour is really needed. What's it say underneath it there? Doesn't really say much, does it? It's a giant Johnson. Get over here and look at this. Navy target balloon. 1940s to 1950s. So let's just have a look at what he's got here, because that was the claims of some of the other ones we've seen hanging around ships out to sea. It could have escaped. Could be advertising blimp, I guess. 1979, did they have them back then? Probably. So they're saying this is a target and blimp. And looks like it's on a sort of like a launch platform there. And it looks like that boat's only designed to carry it and launch it upwards. Now, I've looked in more detail into this. I'll cover it in a minute. But yeah, that's one possibility. One got away. You would think a fighter pilot would be able to be well aware of targeting the balloon, and it maintained the same distance relative to the aircraft, which is something that has been reported by other pilots. Now, it's only his word. We ain't got no ongoing video, but it's still better. Looking at that image here, it's still better than the crap we get from the Herons and the Navy even today. Alright, we know there's better stuff out there. If this guy could photograph that, how many years ago was that now? 26 years ago. Could do that, and our latest Navy releases 2015. We know it's a sham, right? We know there's better stuff out there, and they know exactly what they're filming. What's this guy here saying? Can you link your source? You realise the government is just a collection of people, right? All with families and friends. People claim the government is too incompetent, they can barely run a country, but also claim they are so good at hiding evidence of aliens. It's not the government, that's why. It's a organisation outside the government that was set up by one of the past presidents and self-funded probably, so it stays out of the books, which I've talked about before. In the MJ13, even if it's a fake, is the right concept, I think, of how that secret organisation would be set up with scientists and experts that look at the world safety as well as America's safety and what should be known publicly without causing mass, what do you call it, hysteria. I don't think there's any more talked about here. Is there? Alright, here we go. So someone's posted a blurb up here. Is that what we already know? I don't know. In June 1979, Italian Air Force pilot Giancarlo, how did I say that word again? Ciccone encountered a dark cigar-shaped UFO while returning to Trabisco Sant Angelo Airport. The mysterious object reported to be hovering erratically, that doesn't sound like it's in control then, was detected by Estrella Air Force Airfield's radar, prompting Ciccone to engage and photograph it using 4 Viton cameras. So there should be more images than that then. UFO's smooth cylindrical body with a slight flattened top and a dome-like structure seemed to be, well, I didn't see any dome structure when we zoomed in on it. We'll have a look at it again. Unwavering precision relative to Ciccone's aircraft and maneuver beyond conventional aerial technology. Witnesses on the ground noted a blush trail emitting from the object adding to the enigma. A blush trail? What's that mean? It means a contrail, do they? Despite Ciccone's efforts to document its presence, the UFO vanished within minutes, leaving experts divided. I'm not sure if it vanished from eyesight or just simply moved away, but we know that if it's a balloon, they can pop, they can rip right along the seam and shrink down to nothing and disappear, because that's what happens with weather balloons. And of course, it's got no big surface there to reflect radar back, you see, so it disappears off the radar as well. If it's got material that obviously reflects microwaves, of course a lot of balloons don't do that, and that's why weather balloons have a radar tin foil dangling off a string underneath, so it can be tracked on radar. And planes can be alerted that a weather balloon is going to pass in front of you or whatever. So yeah, this could be another legit UFO, of course. We're not sure how this UFO vanished exactly, but there are ways to explain it away. If it was only seen on radar and disappeared, right? Or if he saw it with his eyes disappear. But again, if it ripped very quickly, would you see, he was too busy flying a plane, would he see that a strip of plastic then floated down towards the ground? Probably not. But who knows? The Italian Ministry of Defense later suggested it was a cylindrical balloon, a claim met with skepticism by UFO researchers, of course. Like Antonio Cimento. In 1994, Ciccone reaffirmed the authenticity of the photograph, yet some discrepancies began to released images and original accounts persist. Decades later, the sighting remains one of Italy's most compelling UFOs. Yeah, so that one looks like it's colorized here. What the hell is that there? Does it look like it's flat on the top? I guess it could be. It doesn't really look flat. Is that the dome there? Of course, we can't rule out it being a balloon still, or like a blimp, because they used them all the time during wars and stuff. And I'll show you some pictures of what the Navy were using. So what's that down there? Does that look like a playground? Or is it a seaport? Is that like a wharf coming out there? What is that below? Is that a coastline? No, because he said he was going to an airport, so that's got to be an airport, isn't it? That's got to be a runway. That's got to be grass. I'm not sure what that is sticking out here though. Probably going onto a radar tower probably. But yeah, that must be all the ground, because look, looks like ground now. Now it's colorized. And there, I'm not sure. Could be a sea line. Could be the sea shore line going around with the cloud, low cloud. If that's the case, then it still could be a blimp balloon. But yeah, still another interesting case that I found. Why hasn't anyone managed to take a single clear, bright photo during all these UFO incidents? Well, because the government gets their hands on it and disappears, that's why. I'm sure there's some out there, right? Now, we've got some on the channel here from a UK guy that refuses to release the video, but at least we got some frames from it that looks like a classic UFO. Not a cigar shape, of course. Anyway, we'll look at the other stuff here. So it's another interesting case. Now, this is bullshit. This page here is total bullshit. Comparing the 1979 cigar with this one that the woman caught from the plane seat in New York 2024. Now we've got the best image of this and analyzed it in past shows, and it's actually a letter A, capital A balloon, helium balloon, and it's a small object passing close to the plane as it's flying past. And they're trying to say that looks like the same as the rendering, not the photograph, of the Silicon cigar UFO with a dome on top. So I'd just like to point that out. That's just garbage. That's just a letter A mylar balloon. And when you see it from the side and the reflection of light and where the triangle bit of the A is, it matches up exactly. This is the bullshit that we have to deal with in ufology. Of course, it could be any color. You don't necessarily see color through photograph stuff through the window. It could be just simply any color, really, but you do get black letter A's as well. And every color under the sun, there's a black one there. So if you can imagine that scene from the side, or that one even, rotated and slightly bent towards you, you're seeing the light reflected here, which they're saying is the dome in that other photograph that we're looking at. But the thing is, we never ever get a letter A seen by the side or spinning around, so I wonder if someone's actually animated it. Letter A balloon 3D spinning. It's closer. But you can imagine it bending around further still, and then put it horizontal to the photograph. And no emanated gift. Let's see. I suppose there's a way to find one. Are these spinning? Let's have a look. Doesn't seem to be spinning. 3D balloon. Doesn't say it's spinning. What's that one say? It doesn't say anything about it. It's very hard to find what you're after nowadays. It's just terrible. You think Google would narrow it down for us, you know. But it'd be a letter spinning lay A out there, and then you could rotate it around 180 degrees, and then it'll match up. So there, that's just pure bollocks, that page. Comparing apples with oranges. Here's a big write-up on it here. And I guess this is some of the photographs he's taken. And that looks like paddocks, doesn't it? And roadways. And maybe a building there. So, yeah. Why couldn't that photograph be as good as this photograph? What's the other one colorized? Is the question, or was it a true photograph? So that looks like another snap of it. So there was another photograph taken. But again, then it looks like the dome that they're talking about on the top is now underneath it, right? Which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But as a balloon it would. Because it's rotating around and being pushed around by the wind. So who knows? Another unknown one, really. And that's it there again, I suppose. We've certainly come a long way with video and camera technology. 11 AM, you expect better daytime photographs of it than that, aren't you? The witness recalled a gas tank of matte black and the presence of a small white or clear dome located on the upper side of the slightly flattened object. So this is what a witness saw on the ground, is it? The dome was like a kind of shaped like those found on sports cars. Well, Ciccone was making yet another tack to get back to doing another round of photographs. Instra radar called to report the object suddenly disappeared from theirs and other radar. So it disappeared off radar. He was doing, obviously turning towards it when it disappeared. So it could have easily ripped and disappeared that way, you know. It could have just gone floated down to the sea or forest or whatever, or some paddock underneath. After a few seconds, the terrestrial control tower confirmed the UFO had visually disappeared. A few minutes later, the plane landed and the films were removed and quickly developed. The pilot was very curious to see the pictures that he had including the white dome. The object was a cylindrical tank at least 8 meters long and 26 feet, with a maximum 3 in diameter, suspended in the sky at 13,000 feet high. Chinese spy balloon, though, still could be military. This case is important because the gun camera filmed radar and visual confirmation with several witnesses, including a highly respected fighter pilot. Yeah, but pilots still can make mistakes too. But yeah, who knows? It could be a real UFO, right? At this stage, it's just not enough information. What would Mick West say to it? Balloon! Okay, I'll post a link to it and you can have a read up on it. So how many people knew about that case? Probably the first time you've heard about it on Out There channel, right? That's why I'm different than other channels. Other channels just regurgitate all the same crap amongst themselves. I at least do different things. We'll look at the other stuff I've got now. Liz, quite chatty. What we got going on here? Isn't that close to the ocean? Well, that's what I was saying in the photograph. It looked like it was on the coastline there. I'm sure it's much better now. Oh, we're going off a fair bit. Yeah, I can't stand Zach Vegas or Ghost Adventures. He's such a tool. Yeah, he's a bit of an arrogant twat, isn't he? What are your thoughts about aliens being demons? I've talked about that in the past, and I've actually had one that looks like a demon appear in the image. You'd have to go back and have a look at my older videos, or use the search hourglass and type demon or angel or whatever, or alien grey, and it will bring up all the episodes where that word's mentioned in the description. That's why I do very verbose descriptions so people can search things. But yeah, if you searched on the search engines, you'll never find my website or the information I provide, because there's some sort of censorship happening. Because even on McWest's page, someone's saying, I can search such and such and get really good pictures and evidence. If I search UFOs, I don't get anything that's worthwhile. That's because it's censored by people like Google, maybe because they're religious type people that don't believe in aliens, don't believe in ghosts, don't believe in UFOs, so they suppress it. Same as what Pentagon was doing. They killed the study for UFOs because they were Catholics and they believed that the church told them that everything's demons and there's no such thing as aliens and all that sort of stuff, right? But yeah, just to quickly summarize what I think about demons. Demons, I think, possibly some sort of entity from the multiverse, because we live in a multiverse, not a universe, and it comes through portals, and the alien greys are trying to capture these things and take them back to their own universe. That's what I believe, and that's why in this particular video where I'm sleeping, some of the orbs actually look like they're forming after running some enhancement on it and bringing up the contrasts and all that sort of stuff, where it looks like it's got two big black eyes and a typical alien grey head forming, and actually body, so they weren't actually orbs as such, they actually look like the apparitions forming, and one of them looks like the goat demon in it. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't gone through all the analysis with me on that particular video, you can find it on my channel just by doing a search. The question is how long a helicopter could hover then. I'm sure it's much better now. Yeah, well, they reckon 5 hours, so for that one with the hotel. It's possible, but then people would have said they could hear the chopper blades, and the reporters would have said, yeah, got an audio recording of it. But everybody said it was silent. So, to me, I think it's just a light play on the clouds, and someone was pranking people to get some advertising of that particular hotel, is my gut feeling on that particular one. But this cylinder cigar one is quite interesting and could possibly be legit. But anyway, keeping the middle ground, of course, is what we do on this channel. So looking at other stuff, there's another report here on it. I'm not sure there's anything different here. Was that the one we were looking at before? To me, it doesn't look like the dome's on the top anymore. It's underneath, if it is. Certainly looks like there's something attached to it, and it doesn't look like a dome there exactly, does it? So it does put a question mark there whether the alien ship would go upside down, and Earth's gravity, that is. In space it wouldn't really matter. Yeah, I think that's the one we posted, wasn't it? Yeah, okay, we can close that one down. So this is the sort of stuff they used in wartime, right? Balloons, shields, they called it. So what they'd do is above farmland and also sea and coastal regions. I'd do it mostly over the coast, I would have thought. Around airports, so they can't get bombed. They'd have these long chains from balloons like this, tethered to the ground. That certainly would be a menace to bigger planes, but smaller planes could accidentally fly into it, I guess, moving at fast speed. So yeah, that could definitely bring down some planes, couldn't it? Got any other pictures of it? So yeah, if one of these got shot off and drifted off, it would look like a UFO. Looks like it's got a round bobble on one end there. Could even have radar attached to it, right? And they could be feeding it power through the cable system and the chains. And of course, what year was that? Have we got any year number on it? We're talking about 100 years ago. So we're talking about since the 1970s there. But they've definitely been using balloons 1900s onwards, haven't they? Probably earlier than that even. Slightly earlier. So this picture is taken in London at the point of 1915. So that was World War I, was it? And they had the old biplanes they used to drop handheld bombs with. Yeah, so when was the wars? World War I. World War I was what year? 1918, was it? Can't remember. 1914? World War I, also known as First World War, Great War, was fought 1914. Yeah, there we go. July to 1918. Oh yeah, I got both those dates. I got the start and end. Yeah, so that's why they were using blimps, I guess. for that one. Next one, blimp versus U-boat. So I'll just go up to the top here. The oldest showdown of World War II. So we're talking about 1944, 43 is it? And what's all that coming off it there? Looks like water spray, doesn't it? Now, did that come from the sea, go upwards? I don't know. Did they simply blow it up on the submarine and then it went up in the sky? That's possible. And that's water dripping off it. What's it say there? It's not scrolling down for some reason. Blimps were an integral part of US Navy operations. Okay, so let's look at airports, is it? 1942. There's a fleet of ships with a blimp in the sky. USA blimp, 1943. K-class blimps were fitted with extensive radar equipment. There you go. And what year was that? 1943 or 44? 1940s, 1944, 1945. So it got better and they started adding radar systems and radio to communicate what they're seeing. Obviously, missiles and being shot down, the guns couldn't hit it from that range till technology improved. Blimps could attack enemy U-boats if necessary. And there's one of the engines on the side of the blimp. 1941. It's good seeing some of these old pictures. K-74 was the only downed blimp of World War II. So all those blimps, and only one went actually down. And they've still got a picture of it. There we go. So that's interesting. I might post a link to that in case you're interested in reading all that. Navy blimps. So if one of those was like an unmanned one that they tethered and towed around a aircraft carrier or whatever to use it like a defense system, because I know the Japanese used to dive bomb. If you added blimps all around it, it'd make it really tricky to dive bomb at a ship, wouldn't it? What did I miss here? Anything? I saw something. Pretty mad picture. The one with the blimps. Yeah, we got a few more to look at. Yep. So people say they don't last on strings very long. But some of these guys hang around right to the end. And I know I should probably going to run out of time again. What are we up to now? 3.5. Really, I should be quitting before 4 hours is up. So yeah, looks like we're going to have to push some to another weekend already. Here's some more. They call them kite balloons because they're tethered to the ships this time, I guess. And there's one there. Very strange shape, but it definitely looks like it's tethered to the front of the ship. No, the back of the ship. There's the front, there's the back. I guess it's a good way to get a radar system way up there and have one person in it for eyes, binoculars. And here's another crazy looking one that kind of looks like a UFO, cigar shape. And it's got various things behind it for God knows what reason. 1921, that one. Another one here of a man. Don't know if he's fallen out or what. Kite balloon pilot change. So looks like they have a rope going down to the boat and they pull themselves up with the rope. One man comes down, the other man goes up. There we go. Interesting, isn't it? A lot of cables get tangled up there though. Look at that strange looking thing. That does look rude. What the hell? Looks like it's a old German Swiss thing on it, whatever it's called. I don't think it says British here. Doesn't look like a British sign there though. And that looks like a huge one. Is that a submarine or a balloon behind them though? Don't know. Could it be? Could be a submarine. Looks like it's on a platform. So yeah, there you go. That looks like there's lots of pictures of blimps and balloons. That one looks UFO-y. What year is that one? Doesn't say. I'll post a link to this one. It's got tons of pictures, that's for sure. Well, these ones up here. Anyway, better get moving. So yeah. You can see it makes it really difficult to say whether a cigar shape is man-made or alien. And they call them lighter than air, of course. Oh, a bit cold actually. Seems to be a draft coming in. I reckon someone's got the outside door open or something in the hallway. Okay, UFO man. This is why you can't trust people like Elizondo, because he goes on these proven fraud channels, and this is how he helps the fraud channels build up their sub base, right, and the viewership. And they just get constant garbage from people like UFOman. So yeah, he's been interviewed on a panel not that long ago. 4 months ago, right? So he's still doing the tours around fraud channels. Hoaxer channels.
Celestial historical researcher.
Fantastic.
That is
So, you know, I invited him to come on my show. He chickened out. I wonder why. And these are all the stupid people, females, by the looks of it. He's got a whole lot of females around him. Have no clue who they're dealing with. This guy here. And this guy here. they're still sucking up to Zondo, which is unbelievable, really. He's been caught out with fake UFO photographs, videos, all sorts. He said he would come back. Of course he was, a grifter. Promote his book. So, let's see, is he promoting something here? Dive into the UFO phenomenon. Lou doesn't know anything to do with UFOs. And UFOman doesn't either. He thinks everything's a UFO. And yeah, I don't think he's ever brought up the cases I've brought up today. But we'll have a look. It's all about making money, really, unfortunately. You know, someone with 40,000 subscribers, and computer's playing up, damn it. Come on, it's not, you can see it's not scrolling up. He's got quite a few subs, right? Magnifies and fusing to wick. Of course, Google has screwed up how it displays it. Let's see, does it show up from full screen? No. See, I don't understand that. It's to do with the size of the font, I think. Scale it down. No, scale it up. No, it doesn't seem to be changing there, so that's not the size of the font. Some other stupidness going on. They do this on purpose. They'll probably display perfectly fine on Chrome, but other browsers it won't. They do it on purpose. So people switch to Chrome to see a web page properly. But I believe he's got like 45. Let's click on that. 47 now. 47,000 subscribers. He's only got 600 videos up. He's deleted loads because they're all dodgy.
Okay, great. Lou, we have Polyrod.
He doesn't care he's got on. Lou doesn't know anybody. As long as he gets his book promoted. Here we go. Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFO. Isn't it a book or something he wrote? It was garbage. So he's doing the tour here, promoting it, trying to get sales up, right? That's all he cares about is money. Thanks for everything you have done. Yeah, building up this fraud's channel, right? What has he done to ufology? Made a mess of it. Made it even worse. He's helped the government set up a new department, Arrow, which does nothing. Releases crappy videos, solved or not solved, but they think it might be a balloon or whatever, or a camera artifact. You know, that sort of nonsense. Really poor quality stuff. So if we go to his page and have a look, alright, you can see the crap he promotes, right? He's not really trying to investigate stuff and get rid of the noise like I am, and actually trying to bring you the best cases. Just anything, right? So this one here we knew was a helicopter flying horizontally over a house, and it was overexposed and it looks kind of weird, like a UFO coming down. But we know it's a helicopter because it's on the apps, right? And he's only put that a month ago. We've busted that back then as well, or further back than that, right? And again, you got these ones, red and white lights, looks like a distant plane, you know. He's promoting Lazar, who's a proven fraud as well, you know. Sports model, still promoting that bullshit. 1,000 views. Greys, he wouldn't know about Greys. I've been visited by Greys. He hasn't. This guy certainly doesn't know anything about alien Greys. Ross Cohart, who lost his job because he did a poor reporting job in UK about pedophiles. He was asked to leave or get sacked, so he chose to leave. So he wouldn't lose his commissions and stuff. Multiple UFOs tracked by the US military, NORAD. Looks like another old video, right, from a news clip or something. And we're back to this bouquet nonsense again from Corbell, right? Michael Stratt, who's another guy that works with frauds or like third phase to promote himself to make money out of his drawings. Hal Putoff, isn't it? On Joe Rogan, he's got a clip there. A guy that was fooled by Uri Geller, bending spoons. Now we got typical balloon UFOs, you know, the cube UFO, which is a cube balloon, and then we got this one here, which looks like a pillow balloon, and we got this idiot here. What was his name? Valet. People used to think he was really good, but when you start delving into his stuff, it's really dodgy. And stuff, he only goes on shows that will only promote his new movie or book. So I don't like this guy at all. Plane, out of focus. What's that one? Looks like could be a short Starlink train moving through the sky. Could be a plane with a short contrail. Uh, 12 minutes or whatever it is, so we can have a look at it in more depth if I want. But yeah. Excuse me, I probably need to get a drink. This just puts up so much garbage. Same as third phase, right? No different. Just garbage. Maybe we have to come back to him another day because we're going to run out of time otherwise. Just have a quick look at this one here. I don't think I'm going to finish by 4 hours anyway. Maybe I'll just keep on going. It means I have to upload on Pilled because Pilled gets chopped off.
Here you can see that it's sitting entirely still in one
No, it's not. It's moving.
Check it out.
It's not sitting in one place at all. Way up there. Probably a bunch of balloons, right? This garbage.
This clip comes out of Texas, dated.
You always should question videos where you see something and they never show how it disappears. You should always question those ones.
May 12th, 2024, of a triangular,
which could easily be a single wing fighter jet passing overhead with a contrail.
Craft exiting frame right. You will.
Or it could be simply a kite. Triangle kite, RC kite. They fly them around nowadays without any strings. So it could be anything. There's no analysis done by this guy.
The
Okay,
one
what are we
light in
looking
the
at?
middle seems to be flashing faster than the others. Here we have leveled it.
What's that? Edge of a eave of a house, is it? Is this like a chandelier out of focus dangling down on the porch?
Off, so it looks like it's going straight down with the lights in the middle.
Kind of looks like a bulb in the middle there, doesn't it? It's just actually garbage. What are we looking at? Is that the same thing, or is that something else?
What do you think this is?
It could be the same image. Let's have a look. Looks like a fake.
Let me know down below in the comments.
See, maybe we'll come back to this guy another day anyway, and go through those again. But terrible video editing. Anyway, we'll leave him for another day. We'll just go do a catch up on him. What else we got left here? Okay, just go through this stuff here. Alien UFO sightings. Lockheed Martin can grow the skin of an aircraft that contains sensors and stores energy without any wires. Data flows through the structure. They have new materials that change shape on command, like a muscular material. They can make anomalous aircraft that change shape and make swarms of small ones that learn and interact with a larger vehicle. So does that sort of discount aliens now then? Because it's now they're saying it's all black ops craft now here.
Do things like embed the carbon nanotubes to make conductive structure.
Terrible music on it.
So that information doesn't flow through a wire next to a structure.
What's that from? Looks like some sort of UFO documentary, is it? What's that symbol up there? Looks like someone's cropped it from somewhere.
But literally flows through.
I don't know. What have we got here? What is that? Some government badge, is it? NASA? I don't know.
The structure.
We'll be able to grow or make a structure that, say, is the skin of an aircraft, that inside of that is also contained the sensors.
Haven't I been saying this for at least 9 years about this sort of stuff? Lighter than aircraft with skins that can self-repair. Makes sense that the whole thing would be like a solar cell as well, so it can just charge. And it could be up in the sky indefinitely, just floating above, spying on you, which is what the Chinese are trying to do now, I think.
Or the energy.
You know, if it's like a self-healing fabric and you got canisters of helium things inside, if you tried to shoot it down, you wouldn't be able to bring it down. It just simply refill the canister from a backup after the self heals, and you couldn't shoot it down.
Storage, or many different multiple functions.
New materials that are on the
I see they're doing nanotubes here, carbon nanotubes.
bench right now. They can literally change shape on command. They can become almost a muscular material.
We could have an air.
Now, we've seen that on other documentaries over the years too, and they can simply put a charge in it and it sort of responds like a muscle. But we know they can put LEDs on it and display anything they want. We've got a thing called e-paint now. So, yeah, a lot of stuff that people could be filming could be just simply new Black Ops research on stuff they haven't revealed to the public yet, because they're using it on people like Russia and China and Iran. You know?
Airplane that optimizes its shape for the different flight conditions it's in.
There's definitely a lot of amazing technology that's going on with the Lockheeds.
That's really annoying music, but yeah, I suppose I'll post a link to it and you can have a watch of it without this circus music. I'm not sure where it's from though. He should have really included a link to the full documentary. I was going to do third face. I think they've got some cigar UFOs on their one. And I was going to go through some of these here. But I think we're running out of time. I don't want to round it off. Probably to change. So we're talking about metamaterials here. Let's try to put it all together into one documentary, I guess. Who's out there? Is it worth carrying on a wee bit? Oh, we're up to 13. I suppose it's not too bad for me. Maybe I'm too technical for people. I don't know. But yeah, there's only Michael that sort of donates and helps out the channel. We need more supporters really, because it's going to be a time come when everything craps out here again. This laptop's getting fairly old now, and that was gifted to the channel 5 years ago, and it's not going to last much longer, I don't think. It's starting to get problems with it. But yeah, was there anything here that we could go through? That looked like it might have been interesting. There's that story there. People disappearing, Phil Snyder rubbish. Chupacabra trying to make some money out of it. That fake CGI one. Yeah, we're supposed to look at more stuff next time. So there's not too much happening, it's just the same old garbage recycled, doesn't it? That might be something interesting. And that one. Recycled garbage. We've been through that one before, so there's not really much happening online. And third phase. I've got 8 minutes. You can see there's a ton of stuff here that we probably need to go through. Where's the last time we got to? Where's the red lines? Have we lost the red lines? Is there any red lines here? Let's Google lost our red lines. I'll note this one. So where did we get to last time? There? All the garbage I put out since. On and on and on. So I'm not sure what's there, but we will get through and skim through them all eventually. Yeah, they did have some cylinder ones. Oh, there we go. I've got one for a big arrow there. To me, that looks like a solar tube balloon. And they know it is. This one here. Definitely a solar tube balloon if it plays for us. So you can see it's black once they get the light not shining off it. A lot of gradiatas. It's probably from that hanging the sun, not idiot. That's just like made out of shopping bags, but we'll go over this next weekend for sure. So we'll just keep those ones lined up, I guess. What's that one there? and UFOman. So we at least got something. Maybe I'll just focus on those, get them out of the way with next time. But yeah, we're just going to wrap up there for today. I haven't had anything to eat yet. It'll be dinner time before we know it. No breakfast, no lunch. And it's coming up to 3 PM. I'll go and grab something to eat now. But yeah, I'll say good night, guys, and still got plenty to go over. More than a security team anyway. Who we know is a proven hoaxer. Good night, or take care on the road. And if you want to know about Tyler, there's a playlist on him on the home tab of my YouTube. If you're new to the channel and first time hearing that, a lot of people have freakouts when they realise their favourite UFO channel is a proven hoaxer. But yeah, say goodbye, Mr. Gray. Goodbye. And I'll wind down now. Hopefully you enjoyed today anyway. A couple interesting UFO cases there. Not too well known, of course. And keep promoting me and get more people to show up and watch. More people live helps. Thanks Liz for interactive chat today. And Michael. And hit a like if you liked the episode today. It'd be great to let other people know that it's worth time. Okay, I'll start ending. So I'll try and keep it to 4 hours or less. A whole week of stuff to talk about though, you know. How many likes do we get on Pilled? 3, is it? We used to get 12, 16 I think was the best one we've had. I think we only got 3 today. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with Pilled, it's going backwards again. Rumble gets a lot of people watching but not people commenting or liking, which is kind of strange as well. Anyway, I better end.